What's this one going to be about?
He's like, I'll fucking kill him.
Second in command.
Oh,
I'm DreamWorks bounding.
Da.
Hello, Freud. What does that mean?
You're saying about Shrek the
Sorry,
Third?
I fucking don't.
Hi there. Welcome to the Sorry I Don't podcast with your hosts, I guess.
Promoted.
Promoted hosts. I'm Swanny.
I'm Claude.
And I'm Abby.
And today we're going to be looking at Shrek the Third on our continued journey of trying to find films that are a little bit ridiculous. Maybe they're great, but they're the kind of films, either way, you want to talk about with your pals. And your pals are right here on the Sorry I Don't podcast. So, beginning with this, Shrek the Third. How do we feel generally about the Shrek franchise?
I haven't really watched these films since I was a lot younger, and they kind of have become amalgamated for me, to be honest. I don't really, I can kind of remember it was in the first one, I can kind of remember it was in the second one. After that, it's sort of a blur, and most of my experience watching this film was like, when's the bit that I remember finding funny? And it's not in this one. That's it. That was my general experience of Shrek the Third.
And for that reason, Abby is sitting opposite us.
This is the first time I've ever sat I have had a sort of disagreeing opinion to you guys. I am such a horrible people pleaser. This is the first time. This is the first time I've ever sat in this seat.
Yeah, I was 17 again. We all kind of equally.
Yeah, we all
Yeah,
so
true.
You liked it a little bit. That's why you
That's
were
why
right
you're
there.
your extra 2 points for that.
What did you give
Pish.
it again?
A 10.
No, you didn't give 17 a 10.
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't care. Shrek the Third.
Yes, what do you think?
I
About Shrek in general,
love Shrek.
right?
The second one's probably my favourite, as is the consensus.
It's-
We did a poll. We took everyone's view into account, and then we just ignored you all because
Sorry, guys.
everyone wanted to do the good one. And who wants to see us talk about something that's actually good?
Yeah, right. We take the piss out of films here, and we try and find ways to love them as well. But you just love Shrek the Third. You just love Shrek 2. Thank you for sorting my mic there.
You're
That's why
welcome.
you got a river from me somehow. But no, Shrek 2 is a classic. I give it like an 8 out of 10, but there are certain scenes like these. What's the big song?
What out of Shrek 2?
I Need a Hero.
I Need a Hero,
10 out of
yeah.
10 sequence. The beats in that, I actually get chills. I don't get chills a lot. I do get chills often, but I actually get chills during that sequence. Like, see when Puss in Boots jumps off and he's like, "Now is the day I repay my debt." I actually get chills, even though I know it's a joke.
I mean, a few seconds ago we were like, let's not talk about Shrek 2 because we can't be funny.
We're getting out right away. Shrek 2 is godly. Shrek 2 is great. Shrek the Third, for me, is a little bit of a guilty pleasure. I think I like it quite a lot. I have some personal reasons, and also I do think it is quite funny. And it's not as funny as the other ones. It's just like little snippets of, oh, that's a funny joke.
I your opinion of it just being a bit of a kind of, I think when I asked you what you thought of it, you just said pish. I thought it was a bit harsh. I don't know.
Yeah, we both leapt in our like, what you saying about Shrek the
Sorry,
Third?
I fucking don't. It's Shrek, man. Chill out. No, I think it's good. It's not the best one, but I don't feel very strongly against any of them. I don't really remember the fourth one, to be fair.
I can't wait.
I think this is the problem, is that I remember Shrek being funny, but I don't remember watching any of them. So I was like, oh, this is going to be funny, at least because it's a Shrek film. And then without any of its previous predecessors doing it any credit, I was like, this alone is just a bit rotten. I didn't think it was that
That's
great.
a fair point. I think if it was just a film that wasn't Shrek the Third, I'd maybe be a bit more harsh against it. But because it's the third one, I'm like, okay, ran out of steam a wee bit, but there are some weird choices that they make that are quite funny and silly. So,
Who directed Shrek the Third?
oh, fuck me. Right, good question. I thought I had all my things sorted, but I don't have that
No,
one.
of course not.
I don't want to sound
No, I gotta get-
like an idiot here, but how do you direct an animated film?
I'm really worried
Mrs.
that we're going
TV
to get...
Mrs. TV woman.
I have never been quoted directing an animated film.
It's a similar process to what's the word for it? It's a similar process to how you do a normal film. Obviously, you're more focused on the storyboarding at the start and then generating the image through whatever animation process that you're doing. So it's very similar. I imagine a lot of the direction will come with the voice acting as well, of course.
Yeah.
So it'll be like, instead of doing it all on camera, a lot of it will be, right, we're doing our direction with the voice cast. We got that down. And then I feel like they animate around the voice acting as opposed to trying to make the voice acting match the people on screen, because that would be stupid. So, yeah, I feel like it maybe is a slightly different skill set. That's actually an interesting point.
Yeah.
I hadn't actually fully looked into it. Like, I've seen documentaries like about the making of them, so I've picked up some stuff, but that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's also got quite a star-studded cast. Oh. You've got Mike Myers, of course, Cameron Diaz,
Eddie Murphy,
Antonio Byrne,
Justin Timberlake's in
this one. Oh, yeah, what's with the recent thing of all the films we've watched that have just had what you doing here? Like, Rupert Everett. Why is this singer in this film?
Well, look, to be fair, Shrek was kind of the first of the animated films in general to do this in terms of like
stunt casting.
Yeah, star casting. Like so many, like if you look at a lot of animated films before 2001, when Shrek came out, 2001, I know, that's fucking terrifying. A lot of them, like, they're just really good voice actors who are known for their voice acting, so they got cast in our stuff. But Shrek was really different because, well, the history behind it is it's kind of a fuck you to Disney from the guy who used to be in charge of Disney, who then took over and was able to use these fairy tale properties. And so you went, all right, how am I going to compete with that? Well, one, you take the piss, and two, I'm going to get the biggest fucking cast that I can find. So, yeah, you're getting these guys at top. Like Austin, I think Mike Myers has done Austin Powers. He's big on SNL. He's done Wayne's World at this point. He is top of the game. Interestingly enough, he wasn't actually the first choice for the role.
It was, I don't know what the guy's name is.
No. Fuck.
He was an American guy.
Yeah, the guy, did he not pass away? Is that why he didn't get you?
He filmed 80% of it. Farley? Someone Farley?
Oh, yeah, Chris Farley.
Chris Farley, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, he passed away after filming 80% of it, so then they completely rewrote it and redid it, because he did it in an American accent.
Yeah.
And they kind of changed the tone of it. Because Shrek's actually based on a book, which is a bit darker than the series is.
Yeah, I saw that last night. I was like, is it a picture book? That's so weird.
Yeah, Shrek's like eating people, and they're like, haha. Oh no, was it? Shrek is sad and ugly because God hated Shrek. That's a line. That's a line in this film. And also, I think Shrek kind of lives up to that reputation in Shrek the Third.
It's a line in the film.
No, it's a line in the book. It's a line in the book.
That'd be shocking.
That would be
shocking. Said that?
Yeah. It sounds like someone of us would say steaming like on a rant. We don't really mean it. We were just trying to say the most obscene thing possible about someone.
Absolutely. So, unless we've got anything else, you're asking, sorry, who directed it? Sorry, that was the question that started all this. So it was Chris Miller that directed it. Now, Chris Miller, he was the story artist and additional dialogue on the first Shrek film. He voiced Geppetto in the first one and the Magic Mirror. And in Shrek 2, he voiced Humphreys, whoever the fuck Humphreys is, and the Magic Mirror. And again, he was upgraded to head of story and additional dialogue. And then with Shrek the Third, he became the director and the writer of the screenplay. And he voiced the puppet master, the announcer, the mascot, and a singing villain, whatever the hell that means. Yeah, and then for Shrek 4, he's doing nothing apart from voicing a couple of characters. So,
yeah,
they were like, maybe no. But he eventually did do the Puss in Boots movie, which was quite well received. And
the most recent one, the one that came out last year.
No, not the really good one, like the one that was okay.
All right, okay.
So he's does a lot of voice acting.
Great.
Great. Sorry. So let's jump into it. Shrek the Third.
No more spitting.
That was close.
Sorry,
I fucking spat all over myself.
I just need a warning if you're going to be funny. Can I keep going to take sips of drinks?
Abby, I'm always funny. That's your warning.
It wasn't you, man.
I know it wasn't me. But I'm always funny. Just because you don't find it funny, that's just your palate. Anyway, getting aggressive. For no reason. Shrek the Third. So, we come in, and we start with the dashing Prince Charming, voiced by Rupert Everett, as he's riding to save Fiona.
He looks exactly like Jaime Lannister.
He does look like Jaime Lannister. It is uncanny, and I feel like it was... I don't know if it was deliberately done on the part of the Game of Thrones creators, but... Maybe. I mean, Prince Charming...
Did Game of Thrones not come out after that, though?
It did come out after Shrek, but the books were written before. And I feel like...
But it looks like...
He looks... especially season 1. I think they were definitely playing with that, because he is meant to be the kind of charming knight in Game of Thrones.
I like to think, rather than that Game of Thrones based their look off of Prince Charming. rather than the other way about.
I think that's actually what I meant. Sorry, that's what I meant. That's exactly what I meant.
Just for absolute clarity, as somebody who's never seen Game of Thrones, you're trying to suggest that Game of Thrones were inspired by Shrek.
The second.
2?
Shrek, all of them. No, Shrek 2 and 3, where Prince Charming's in it.
Prince Charming looks exactly like the actor Nikolai Coster-Waldau who plays Jaime Lannister.
So you're trying to tell me that
it looks exactly like a man.
How can you suggest that they've been influenced by Shrek if the actor just looks like him?
No, so right, it's the hairstyle because like when he has his hair shorter in the later seasons.
The style. I thought you were like the actor looks like. I was like, how? Or we're now just playing with genetics.
Picture comparison, but no. Jaime Lannister has his long hair and he's meant to be like the kind of pretty boy, good-looking knight. You know, he's the best fighter in the land. Blah 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 blah. And it's very much.
Is that not Prince Charming?
It looks a lot like
right. It looks like a live action Prince Charming. And I think that's definitely an astute point and probably a little cheeky thing that they did.
I don't think it is.
No. I was like, this was a bit for me.
This is awful. We're 5 minutes in and I'm already losing the rag. I've done one sentence
Feels
of my
like
fucking...
we're 40, man.
I know. Right, so the dashing, beautiful Prince Charming, who did not inspire Jaime Lannister, is riding to save Fiona. But, shock, he's actually on stage and he's performing to go save her.
Just at the start of that, I thought that you were watching the wrong Shrek. Because I was like,
because that's how
no, he doesn't.
That's how the second one opens.
Yeah, that's how the second one opens. I was like, hold on a minute.
Yeah. So at this point, anyone who's not caught up in Shrek 1 and 2, I don't know why
fuck you, man.
Fuck you.
That's your problem.
But yeah, basically, Prince Charming failed to get Fiona in the first one, and his evil witch god.
Oh, there
It's on the screen.
There he is. And his evil godmother, his mother, the evil godmother, played by Jennifer Saunders, is dead. So he's now reduced from the chivalric hero to a shitty stage performer.
A loser.
He's a loser.
He's a joke.
He's Boyd throughout this whole film. Once again, we found another film where a guy is being Boyd. And I quite like, he's trying to really play this seriously on stage, and then the rest of the crowd are just not having it. And then we get Pinocchio and Gingy are just fucking shouting things.
Pinocchio's like, I hate dinner theatre. And honestly...
No, it's Gingy that says, I hate dinner theatre. And then Pinocchio goes, me too.
And then his nose grows. Okay. But this is like... So, I don't even know if I've told you guys this, but obviously when we were at uni, we did Gatsby. That was my play. I directed it. Do you know that the script that I used for Gatsby, I figured out about a week before opening night, was actually written for a dinner theatre performance?
Really? That explains so much.
My God.
It's basically, there's a whole problem.
That.
Yeah.
He's saving it.
There's a whole problem with the rights for the play that we wanted to do, and we didn't get them, and I left it. I was so convinced they were going to come through before we put the idea forward. I'd come up with something else last minute, and I was like, what's going to sell tickets? Everyone knows a Great Gatsby, big film out of it recently, this will be commercially successful. And so I found, just Googled, Gatsby adaptation, rights were available. I was like, class, let's do this. And then when I was trying to stage the show and stuff, I was like, there's very weird stage directions for this. It's and then they move around here, and then there's a song, and then it's clearly meant to be waiters.
It's a dinner party play.
And I realised that literally about a week before the show, when I had decided to incorporate 17 set changes into this, maybe an hour and 10 minute long play.
Oh no.
And it was really my Icarus moment. It was pretty depressing. So as I was watching this, I was just feeling levels of anxiety that I had not felt in 4 years. Yeah. 4? Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, you feel bad about how that play went. Imagine watching it, Abby. No, I'm joking. That was silly.
The thing is, they actually pulled out the bag. Everyone involved did very well.
They nailed it.
But it was not an easy path.
No. It was not. But look, so Gingy says, I hate dinner theatre. Pinocchio says, me too. That's a lie. I'm on Pinocchio's side here. The idea of having a fucking dinner and watching theatre and kind of shouting at them and kind of half paying attention, that's my dream.
I think you're meant to shout at them.
You're not meant to, you said.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, well, that makes sense why Prince Charming is Boyd at his own show. He starts throwing people start throwing things at him. Boyd.com. Oh, Boyd.com. I wonder if we can get that domain name. Look into it, Cammy. So, the boys, the team, Gingy and Pinocchio, and the crowd.
The boys.
I'm going to start referring to them as the boys.
Poor boys.
The other lads, they start throwing things at Prince Charming, and he's absolutely ripped to shreds by Gingy, who's like making fun of his acting, saying, I don't know what he says, I didn't quote it, but the crowd loves, and then when Shrek comes on, it's like some guy in a shitty costume, and everyone's like, yes, there he is, main man Shrek, and it's definitely like a little meta commentary, and it's kind of funny, but Prince Charming is fucking raging. So he leaves, and he goes to his dressing room. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at how much that would be you. But I'm Macbeth.
Why can't we go 10 minutes without me getting cast as the most reprehensible, stuck-up prick?
Listen, I have also noted you being similar to Shrek in this, so I'm really...
Thank you.
Is that better?
Oh, that's going to be great. That's going to be great when I start my tirade on Shrek being the tyrant king. We'll get to that very soon, though. Fucking great. Anyway, so Pinocchio's hilarious. I love Pinocchio. They don't do enough Pinocchio in this film. They do it better in other films. I kept waiting for more. I was like, oh, Pinocchio lie. Yes, I love Pinocchio's lies. They're always funny. Not in this one as much. There's like one, maybe two, whatever.
I like the wee bit where he's kind of like trying not to lie without.
Oh, yeah.
Without, like,
that's a good bit.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I like that bit. We'll get to that.
But, yeah, it's not as funny as some of the stuff in Shrek 2 when he's, like, you know, wearing underpants and lying about it. And it's like, right, why are you lying about wearing women's underpants? That's kind of funny. Pinocchio stan over here. Didn't like that either, guys. So anyway, as I say,
Save yourself.
what? Sorry,
Save yourself.
save myself with the plot. Shrek the Third will be my salvation. Start over my page. So Prince Charming goes to his dressing room and immediately starts crying because we also notice that his dressing room is just an alleyway with a little mirror with his maw taped to the side of it, and he just starts fucking greeting again, full Boyd, full emasculation.
I love the whole theme of Amdram in the films we've been watching recently as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a lot of comparisons between the end of this film and the end of Moulin Rouge. Just spoilers
So do
for the
I.
end of the podcast. Brilliant. Cannot wait to
We're
get
gonna
there.
get there.
But this is like where I was like, oh, she's not in this one. Like,
Yeah,
I
you're
sort
right.
of thought that I didn't realise that she was dead at the end of
The
the
fairy
second
godmother.
one, the fairy godmother.
She gets turned into bubbles. That means death in the
I
Shrek
have
world.
not seen this like second Shrek since I was like 10. Do you know what I mean? So
What?
That's crazy.
Wait, you've not seen Shrek 2 since you were 10? Why the fuck didn't we do Shrek 2 then? I thought we were all just like, yeah, Shrek 2
people
is
asked
great.
for Shrek 2.
The people did ask for Shrek
guys,
too.
we've absolutely fucked this for you all. Very sorry.
I end
Anyway,
up spending most of this podcast talking about fucking Shrek 2.
anyway,
The point is, as I was watching
podcast
this,
should have been.
we're like maybe like 4 minutes into the film, and he says like, "Oh, sorry, I failed you, Mum." And I realised as he looked at the picture, I was like, "Oh, aye, she's not in this.
shit.
What happens in this? Everything I thought was in Shrek 3 was actually in Shrek 2. What's this one going to be about?" And
Well, what it's going to be about is the spirit of the fairy godmother compels him to reclaim his throne. Really, it's just him. But yes,
that
he's...
would be so much more interesting, and we could have her in it again if that was the
Yeah,
case.
great. Oh my god!
Oh my
Have a Mufasa moment with the fairy godmother.
Like a
funny.
Bella and Edward
Why
moment.
the fuck did we not do
And
that?
a musical number.
No, you know why we didn't
It
do
could
that?
even be He Lives in You, but they would never get the rights from Disney, but that would have been class.
Do you know why
Oh
they've
my
not done that?
God. Why?
Because Jennifer Saunders would cost too much money, and they've already got Justin Timberlake on this one.
Justin Timberlake's shite though. When
Yeah,
has he
yes.
ever been in anything where you've been like, I'm so glad Justin Timberlake's in this?
Social Network.
Film-wise.
The Social Network.
Okay,
That's
so
the
Only
only-
the other film I can
that's
think
fair.
of that he's in.
Nah, just
about In
just in time. I was going to say in time. Fucking, what about in time?
He's in a film called
Robin.
Just in Time.
No, it's in
No.
time.
All right.
I
It's
think
like Justin Timberlake is in a film called Just in Time. That would have sold
They
me.
mi- they
I'd be
missed-
like, right,
they missed
episode
out.
8, we're doing Just in Time with Justin Timberlake.
Man, we should do
Justin
In Time
Timberlake.
though. In
Ooh.
Time is shocking.
Justin Timberlake's best film that he's in is the music video for 4 Minutes with Madonna.
he's good in that, but no, I would say Social Network because
I
he's.
fucking love that song.
I love that film. Hey, look at us, loving media. Anyway, speaking of, let's keep going. So, as I say, he is compelled, Prince Charming is compelled to reclaim his throne that he believes is his. And of course, that is the throne of Far, Far Away, which is currently occupied by Princess Fiona. Or, no, sorry, is it Queen Fiona? No, Princess Fiona and Prince Shrek. We'll get to that. So, we cut to Far, Far Away, where Shrek is fucking hating royal life. He's absolutely hating it, but he's sitting there in his bed with Fiona, Having a nice little moment.
He's acting for the king at the moment because the king's too ill to act.
Yes.
That's why he is.
It doesn't get fully revealed at this point, but we might as well. That's why he's the acting king. But we have a nice little moment with him and Fiona just lying in bed. It's fine. Okay, we're going to do this together. Oh, it's a bit rough. Oh, I love you. All that pish. And then suddenly, Donkey fucking kicks the door open and he comes in saying, good morning, and just making a new vibe while Shrek and Fiona are in bed. Class. That's all I've written.
Again.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to come in like, hey, you having an intimate moment with your partner before a hard day? Fuck off, here I come to sing a song for you. It's all about me. I am a donkey.
I am a donkey.
I've often been quoted donkey. You should explain that.
We should explain what I've often been quoted as about.
You can explain it better than me because I can't recall.
Basically, we were all hanging out one night and I don't remember how.
Shocking.
Sorry, a big horrible picture of Shrek and Donkey has appeared on the screen for those of you who are listening.
That's you, Abby.
Thanks. You cannot point at a picture of Shrek while you're dressed in all green with a wee like mini shrug on and little like ear things in your hair and go, that's you.
It's a two you combine.
I'm DreamWorks bounding.
But no, so many thoughts that I've now lost the thread of all of them. Hang on.
I've often been quoted.
What does
it mean in this context of our patter?
We were all hanging out one night. I don't know why the subject of fire came up, but the subject of fire...
We were playing a game on PlayStation called That's You, and it gives you prompts.
And it was something to do with sitting around a fire or something.
And you can draw stuff.
Yeah, and the idea is you're meant to sort of like say like, like Swanny would be doing this, and whoever says the funniest thing, gets a laugh. Mm-hmm. Swanny, without a hint of irony, just goes... I have often been quoted saying that fire is an excellent vehicle through which to contemplate the meaning of life. And like... I
feel there was a reason.
No, there wasn't.
Were they talking about fire at least?
You'd drawn a picture of a fire.
Why? Did they ask me to?
The prompt.
I think the prompt was like, this is what Swanny would be doing around the campfire.
Oh, there you go. Then
Swanny says, I've often been quoted saying that, and me and Claude just look at each other and we're like, who is quoted when? I have never in my life.
I responded, I've quoted myself talking about deep things around the fire and then brought it out to people afterwards and went, I had this thought around the fire.
How often are you around the fire?
Sometimes.
Just like how long have you known?
Quoted around the fire.
How long have you known us that you could possibly for a second think that you could get away with saying something like that and not immediately be ripped to shreds?
Sometimes I do it because I like being made fun of. It gives me a little kick. I almost struck you with this big fist.
I know, you can't do it on this.
This big fist almost came through your wee face.
Can't do it on the camera.
I have often been quoted threatening my female pals with violence.
I've often been quoted beastly. Continuing on.
Anyway, the point I was going to make is, like, that thing with Donkey, you have literally been, in my past relationships, pretending to be a spider with my knitting needles, just generally making a nuisance of yourself. That's why I've been single for a while.
Those are more your issues, not mine.
It's two separate things.
Are you listening to this?
I was just choosing to ignore it. It's two very separate things. But the point is, you are a pest and you are a donkey.
And on that conclusion, we hit the main title theme. What's the song that plays again?
Also, just before that, we're forgetting that he rips fucking Shrek's covers off and just has a look at his cock.
Oh, yeah, he does do that.
You've never done that, to be fair.
No. Thank
I'm
you.
surprised.
Excuse you.
I'm surprised you've never had a look at her wee cock.
Did you say her wee cock?
I did.
That's funny. Right, that's fine. I feel like I'm going to balk you. Because I've never sat next to Claude in this
Mere
podcast.
plot wee boy.
Mere plot wee boy. So, title theme. Forgot what the theme song is. Didn't write it down. What's the theme song in the title theme? We don't know. So
Don't bring it up and then not have a prompt for it.
Oh, fuck. Oh no. All my D&D notes are falling out now. I'm such a gimp.
Spaghetti coming out your pockets.
It is spaghetti coming out my eye. Right, so we have the opening title theme, really catchy pop song, as Shrek always does. Forget the name of it. It's there. Montage of Shrek, and he's been the king. And it's played for laughs, He's trying to be a king, and he's trying to knight someone. Oh, don't have to knight someone. Puss in Boots shows him how to knight someone. Oh, okay. And he swings the sword down and kills someone. right? We also see him christening the village of a new boat. Oh, great. Oh, well, thank you, King, standing king. Oh, my new boat. And Shrek fucking destroys the boat. He throws the bottle that's meant to smash and he wrecks the boat. It bursts into flames. Horrible naval disaster. Probably the worst I've had in years. So he kills a guy, sinks a brand new ship. He is objectively, at this point, from everything that we've seen, a tyrant. What do we feel about that?
That implies a level of intent that I don't think Shrek has. However, his body count at this point is ridiculous. And it is, you're right, it's played for laughs. Like
His body count?
You mean his kill count?
Yeah, that's what a body count is.
No, it's not.
It is, but
No, that's the
it means
original.
shagging.
Yeah, like now it means that, but like initially a body count is like how many folk you've killed.
It's kill streak.
Right. Okay. Right, Call of Duty.
Gamer. Gamer girl.
Gamer girl.
I'm surprised you even knew that. We Nancy drew it on the DS.
No, she didn't.
Outing me for playing
She
Nancy
didn't.
Drew on the
She only knew
podcast.
it was Call of Duty because I said Call of Duty and she just got really quick with her reaction. She had no fucking clue what a
I knew Call of Duty was a game.
Yeah, but you didn't know what a kill streak
No,
was.
Claude thinks she's cool.
You didn't know that kill streaks were from Call of Duty until I said it, and then you just were really quick and you masked yourself.
When did I say that? I only thought kill streaks were from Call of
I
Duty.
don't know. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. So, yeah, I'm going to begin a little thread I like to call Shrek the Tyrant King. And this is the first two things of it. He kills a guy when he's meant to knight him and he blows a boat up. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, King. So,
These are both accidents.
yeah, are they? We'll get into that. So, they physically...
This is why we shouldn't have unelected officials.
Yes. So, as the kind of intro theme of Shrek fucking up being a king, or maybe being a tyrant deliberately, but pretending not to be. Anyway, we'll get into that. They decide to physically bind Shrek in a noble outfit. It's almost like we need to fucking contain this guy because he's going to kill us all if we don't tie him up. So he is bound in garters, a big wig, and he can barely move, right? And Puss in Boots and Donkey are having an absolute pissing fit at this. That's not how you say someone's laughing. A pissing fit. That's horrible. No. I'm trying my hardest here. Puss in Boots and Donkey laugh their heads off at Shrek in his silly costume. Yay! There it is. Look at him.
Yassified.
Yassified.
So raging.
He looks like a tyrant. He looks like he goes, yeah, this is a Shrek the Tyrant.
I can't get
Look
over
at him.
you saying piss and fit, man.
Look
the
at that.
fuck are you talking
That's your
about?
face when I said piss and fit. Shrek looking raging. Look at that. I want that tattooed on me.
No, you don't.
I really don't. I really fucking don't. So anyway,
See you trying to explain that to girls in pubs. I thought it was funny at the time. Have I ever told you about piss and fits?
that does sound like my child lines. Sometimes works. Anyway, so Puss in Boots and Donkey are laughing. Shrek then decides to immediately abuse his power and have the aptly named servant, Fiddlesworth, scratch his ass for him because he can't reach it. So he's like, oh, perfect. Your name's Fiddlesworth. Scratch my ass. He is a monster. Anyway, continuing on. His monstrosity is so strong that he pops out of his outfit when he's in front of everyone. Everyone's presented with the king, or the standing king and queen, and Shrek just immediately flexes his monstrous energy and everything pops off. And then, which eventually also burns down the main ballroom. So, on the list of Shrek's tyrant deeds...
Atrocities.
As atrocities as king, acting king, fuck me if he got full power, he has killed someone by knighting them, he's burnt a boat, and he's also burnt the ballroom. Oh, and also harassed Fiddlesworth.
Yeah, this is bad. We're not that far into the film.
5 minutes.
5 minutes into the film, and Shrek is pretty much I know we're calling him atrocities, and I know we're calling him a tyrant, and, the harassment of Fiddlesworth aside, there's something about this. I was like, man, this is how it felt when I was a waitress. It's just everything I touched turned to fire.
When were you a waitress?
Not for long.
Well, that explains.
They wouldn't let me take orders and things. I was only allowed to take food from the kitchen and put it down on tables because I was such a bad waitress. I really, really, really sucked at that job. And everyone was really horrible to me because I sucked. And I was trying to be so nice, but I was like, I am aware that I'm making your life harder. Falls, trips, drops the food.
Dies. Shits myself.
I actually kicked my shoe off across the restaurant. It was really wee swinging door that you open to I went like that to kick the door open because I had 2 plates, but I had my shoe went flying across the restaurant. I had to come out with one shoe on. Really sorry.
What age were you?
19.
just on the cusp of it not being okay.
Aye, wasn't he cute?
Wasn't it cute?
Wasn't he alright?
Wasn't he alright?
Oh, it was terrible. It was so. Honestly, like I've never seen somebody
That's Fiddlesworth.
colossally suck at something as badly as I sucked at being a waitress until I saw Shrek the Third and how Shrek was as king. Because he's actually, it's not even that he's trying his best. He's trying to just, blend in. He's trying to do an all right job.
Is he?
And
He's fucking bitching and moaning like, how do I do this? Oh, kill the guy, fuck it, eh? Oh, how do I do this? Burnt a boat down.
well, it doesn't mean he
Fuck
just
it, eh?
go. He's meant to just hit the bottle on the boat because that's how you christen a ship or whatever. And he just somehow sets fire to it and kills 10 people. And fair enough, no one. I actually did scald someone though when I was a waitress. I spilled hot water on someone. They were okay, but
So as bad as Cammy dropping a drink over someone who's just about to propose when he was being aware.
That's fucking brilliant, Cammy. That's hilarious.
that actually makes me feel a lot better, man. We should chat after this about our shared experiences.
Yeah.
Like how you're looking up in the skies of his teeth.
He's just literally behind the curtain, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, we're lame. Right, so anyway, he's burnt down the ballroom, and obviously Fiona has a wee bit of a fucking word with him. She's like, "Hey Shrek, you alright? Don't seem to be having a good time with this king business." And he's like, "Nah man, I want to fucking leave. I want to go back to the swamp. Bitch, 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 bitch." He just keeps moaning, and Fiona's like, "This is
Here's my critique comes in of this film, right? As a kid, you don't really notice it as much, but I'm like, man, she has so much potential.
Yes.
And she's got this lineage, and he's like, just leave me alone to fucking fart and burp and sleep and die in my fucking swamp, and that's all I want to do in my life. And she's like, man, I want to rule my kingdom. I want to, do my dad proud. I want to have babies.
balance.
And he's like, no, I just want to fucking sit and eat mud and shit myself.
This is the thing, though,
Why,
isn't it?
man?
It's like,
every fucking boyfriend I've had before, man.
Nice caveat at the end there. But that is literally it though. It's like, oh, love is amazing. Love can beat everything. I'm gonna, this guy, I'm so great for fancying him. And then you're like, well, now this is the reality of the situation. I have written down, I get that the message of Shrek is that it doesn't matter if you're ugly, but surely it still matters if you're minging.
That is a very good observation.
That's what I mean. I'm like, okay, I get that you Fiona as well. She kind of acts a bit stinking in this as well. She's trying to kind of keep up with him a wee bit. And I'm like, I get that you chose to be an ogre because looks don't matter, whatever. Fine, good for you. Why are we?
Do you have to be stinking?
Stinking? Why is he oh, I can't wait to go back to our wee swamp with all its fungus? I'm like, what? You lived in a castle without fungus. How are you so okay with your fungus? Mm-hmm. Just because you look like that now doesn't mean you should just be smelly all the time.
Why can't they meet in the middle? Why can't they live in a wee cottage in the woods and there just be a wee bit less fungus and a bit more bants?
Yeah, a little bit more
less
banter.
fungus, more bants.
Oh, why don't they holiday in the swamp? A holiday in the swamp sounds grim. Oh, you love your royal life, kids? Yeah, we're going for 3 months to the fucking swamp. We're going to your dad's home. No, please no. A fucking alligator tried to eat me. A fucking giant snake tried to strangle me. Nah, too late. Your dad loves it. He needs to roll about in the mud and shit himself.
I hope that the upcoming Shrek 5 is that Fiona's left him in the dirt, and it is about their their children trying to go between two households.
That'd be actually interesting.
That would be a funny Shrek.
Well, this is the thing. Shrek does start to touch on really kind of slightly deep themes that it's not really qualified to handle. And you're like, guys, where's my fun? Anyway, continuing on. So Fiona and Shrek are in their bedroom after this farce of a fucking day, and they are just arguing. Shrek says he wants to leave, as he says, going back to this shitty swamp. And at this point, I've just written a little note. I love that when Donkey and Puss in Boots act like they're actually pets. Shrek's going on about how bad it goes, and he looks over and Donkey just goes, I think that went pretty good. Obviously didn't. Very funny. But he's curling up next to him. And then, Puss in Boots is on the end of the bed no one knows any boundaries. So they kick Puss out. He tries to do his little sad cat face that he did so well in Shrek 2. And Shrek's like, fuck off, mate. I'm going in the mood. Shuts the fucking blinds. Fucking done. You were cute. You were only good for Christmas, mate. Get the fuck.
Listen, your wee dance while I'm trying to do my Zooms for work were cute, but no, you get the fuck out, Swanny.
Oh, right, so I'm also the cat. Fuck me. Can I get...
Can I get what?
Yeah, you try. Oh,
Listen, man.
it got angry there.
The listeners.
Sorry, listeners. Claude does this to me. Anyway, so Fiona's
Well,
like,
somebody better be dying. Sorry, I thought that's where
that's
we were
about
going.
to come out. Fucking give me a minute. So Fiona tells Shrek, hey, look, let's chill out. Also, let's move back to the swamp soon. And, you know, maybe we can have kids. And of course, Shrek, being the fucking arsehole that he is like, oh, kids? Oh. It's like, come on, man. Clearly that's where we're going.
Yeah, but I mean, it's fair to be like not wanting children, but he's just so like doesn't want anything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I guess that's what I mean.
Something, man.
Yeah, she's
And also,
like-
he's not very like communicative
He's
about
like,
it.
I don't want to stay far, far away. And she's like, that's fine, we'll be back at the swamp soon. Maybe think about having wee babies. And he's like, I don't want that either. I just want to sit in my swamp and shit myself. And she's like, I want a wee bit more of my life than just sitting in my swamp
I
and
don't
shit
want to
myself, man.
I don't want to just watch you shitting yourself all the time, man. Like that was cute once, maybe. I was like, we ogre with his wee shitty piles.
I'm not even trying to be funny, and that is what he does. He sits in his wee fucking mud pools and shits himself.
Yeah,
That's what he does.
it's played like a funny fart,
It's
but
not
he's
a mud
definitely
pool,
just
it's a fucking shite
defecated.
pool.
He's definitely just defecated there.
My God, is this like some kind of subliminal messaging from like the patriarchy to try and convince us at a young age that this was like aspirational?
It is. So,
Let us be Megan.
so anyway,
You'll
Shrek's
be a
freaking
better
out.
person for it.
Fucking hell. Right. Be Megan, be a better person. Continuing on. Shrek is freaking out about the baby, about the idea of babies.
See,
Look at him fucking shitting in his wee swamp. Look at him, fucking dirty bastard.
That is fucking shocking.
Yeah, that's played like he's doing a fart, but he's literally dropping like 4 pounds of shit.
I can't look at it anymore.
Yeah, there's a gif up of Shrek farting. It's from the films. It's not like some weird gif. It's from the films. This is canon. Canonically, Shrek shits in the swamp.
Shrek has often been quoted shitting.
Yeah, it has been.
That's better.
So, anyway, he's freaking out about the baby. He's freaking out about being king. Everything. Suddenly, a messenger arrives. And Shrek's like, oh my God, interrupting me right now? Someone better be dying. Cut to,
I'm dying.
says the Frog King, Fiona's father, played by John Cleese. He's a frog after the events of the last film. Keep up. Yeah, little sad Frog King is giving some nice chat to them on his deathbed. He's like, look, I'm dying, but you guys are great. I love you. You've taught me so much about life and love and whatnot. And I'm like, do we watch the same films? But okay.
But what he says to Fiona, the way that he words this, is he goes, my daughter, I know I've not always done right by you, but your love for Shrek has taught me so much. And I'm like, imagine being that ugly. That you're watching your wife's father on his deathbed, his last words to his daughter as he's dying is, man, the most inspirational thing you've ever done
Is go out with that fucking mangin.
Yeah, the fact that you love
with that fucking.
see that tyrant, that monster. I love that you love him, man. You're such a good person. Sorry for,
I am
sorry for locking
blown
you in a
away
tower.
by your capability to fancy him.
I'm blown away by the fact that you
Stinking as he
still
is.
like
I
me.
can pass peacefully knowing that I've brought a like kind and like caring daughter into the world who could put that much effort into that fucking minger.
Doesn't even look at Shrek. He's like, yeah, you're gross, man. I'm a frog king, and even I'm like fucking ick. But yeah, apart from that, he's given them like a, hey, I want you to be king and queen, and he also starts playing practical jokes on them, faking his death.
Is he faking his death, or does he
He's
just
not,
keep
but
fake
I'm
dying?
trying to be funny, man.
Yeah, so was the film.
Touche. The film was trying to be funny. Not for you.
Not for me.
For us?
I
We
thought
only
it was
giggle?
okay.
I like that bit.
Yeah, it's fine.
I like when he takes the little fly out the air. You think
that's
he's
good.
dying, and the fly's like crawling all over him
Yeah.
and stuff.
So no, the king builds up this really beautiful thing. Like it's maybe a little bit, like a bit off kilter, but he's like, hey, you guys are great. I want you to be my heirs. I want you to rule the kingdom as king and queen. And Shrek is like, no, absolutely fucking not. So the Frog King dad just kind of stares him down for a bit, pretends to die, and then says, well, there is actually another heir, pretends to die, comes back and says, the last heir is Arthur. Go find Arthur. So the Frog King dies, and they're given a quest. So we're setting up our plot. We're going to go find Arthur the heir, which is obviously a play on the King Arthur legend, of course. And then we get a great sequence. The Frog King's funeral, to a beautiful
Live and Let
rendition
Die funeral.
of Live and Let Die, which of course is a Bond film theme.
Yeah, I don't think I was fully impressed upon me, like, as a child, that this is not, like, a popular funeral song, which makes it even more of an odd choice.
Yeah.
You know, like, having, like, a frog choir singing any kind of song at a Frog King's funeral is, like, objectively absurd. But it's not, like, Time to Say Goodbye or, like, My Way or something like that. It's Live and Let Die, which if you went to a real-life funeral and that was playing, you'd be like, what?
I would love to have Live and Let Die at my funeral, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be funny now.
I want to be lowered into the pond.
In post-Shrek world,
I want the full Bond one though, when it actually does the breakdown.
I was waiting for that,
Yeah,
and I was
right,
like, see if
same.
the Fairy Godmother was in this, we would definitely have got to the breakdown of that song.
Yeah.
I felt like that actually sums up how I feel with this film. I was sitting going, oh,
No.
yeah. The whole film was like, where's my Live and Let Die? Do, 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 do. It was just all the wee
I was
first
actually
bit.
playing it because when I watched it, I actually watched a Bond film beforehand and then watched it with other friend Abby. Sorry, Abby, for calling you other friend Abby. But we were watching it and we watched License to Kill, Bond film, and then we listened to loads of Bond films, and then we watched Shrek the Third, and then fucking Live and Let Die comes on. I was like, can't wait. And then it doesn't do the do-do-do. That
Yeah.
was so sad.
It's like Mandela affected me. I was really sure that they had some kind of obscene dance number in that, but it isn't. It's just a bunch of wee frogs
Like,
singing.
it is quite a nice scene. It is quite sad, and it is kind of well done. After the funeral, well, as the funeral's happening, we zoom out to the edges of Far, Far Away. Prince Charming sees the funeral, and he decides now is the time to act. Classic Succession crisis vibes going on, and he takes us to the Rogues Gallery Inn.
Literally.
Like, literally. So again, Rogues Gallery is a recurring theme that we have throughout the podcast, where we pick a villain from every one of the films. It doesn't need to be the main villain. It's usually not. It's usually the villain that inspires the biggest laughs.
It doesn't even have to be a villain, just somebody
a
who
rogue.
has
Someone who's a rogue.
an off vibe about them in comparison to the rest of the film.
Yeah, so we've got a whole collection of them so far, and we're going to do some stuff with that later on once we've finished filming the first 10. But the Rogues Gallery Inn is literally where we go with Prince Charming. And at this inn, we see all sorts of classic fairy tale villains. Captain Hook's there. Who else is there? The Headless Horseman is there.
Ugly
else is there?
Stepsisters.
The Ugly Stepsisters. Who, sorry?
Maleficent.
Maleficent. Oh, yeah.
Rumpelstiltskin, but not the one from the future
fourth film.
film.
Yeah.
A
Like
different-
his brother, Rabstiltskin. You know Rumpelstiltskin? Well, I'm his brother, Rabstiltskin. That's funny.
It is a formula for classic Swanny patter.
It is.
Picking a famous character from history, I guess.
You heard of Florence Nightingale? Well, I'm her brother, Rab. No, Tam Nightingale, that was it. Fucked it. Oh my god. Anyway, Tam Nightingale.
The point is, you've got a bit like that for quite a few.
The point is, I'm quite funny sometimes. Right, so yeah, obviously, as soon as we all watch this film again, you messaged me, and I was already like fucking drafting a message of, oh my god, Rogues Gallery, guys. You're like, oh my god, can we talk about the Rogues Gallery in this film? I was like, yes, we fucking can, because it's so funny. I love all these villains.
I love the idea. So, like, you have all these villains who eventually they're all kind of talking about why they actually should be redeemed in their respective fairy tales and stuff like that, and how they were never the villain and stuff. And I just
Never
love
the hero, you mean?
Yeah, never the villain.
Yeah,
like they
sorry.
never. That's the same thing.
No,
You understand what's happening?
I understand
yeah.
what's happened.
It's fine.
These are both right.
Cool, good.
And I'm just imagining our rogues gallery all sitting together being like, listen, I think that I was right to be trying to shoot that wee boy on the Titanic. I don't think I was doing anything wrong there. I was just trying to get back a jewel that he had stolen.
And then Mother Hubbard from Goldfinger's like, I was definitely in the
It was fucking
right.
trespassers, man.
If I'd shot that guy, wouldn't he have lost Goldfinger? Wouldn't he have lost their man?
Right to bear arms, man.
Right to fucking bear arms, says Mother Hubbard. Anyway, in this scene, Prince Charming's obviously going here and he's trying to collect people to his side, but he's going about it in fucking such a shite way. He's so lame at the start of this. He's got a little cloth that he sits down on and he orders a fuzzy navel you know what a fuzzy navel is? Peach snaps and orange juice. A very sweet drink. Very sweet light drink. He's like, fuzzy navels for everyone. And then they all just go mental. Captain Hook's like playing the piano. He slams his hook down and they all advance on him. He pisses off the villains, but this gives them the chance to do what Prince Charming does best, which is a very wanky, silly monologue. And he does it. And he basically brings all the villains together for revenge on our heroes.
The wanks in this film love a cringe monologue.
The what?
No, like the guys in this film love a cringe monologue.
Sorry. Yes.
What happened to you there?
It's just such a funny phrase that you came out with.
The wanks in this film love a cringe villain. I was like, what? What? Again.
Wee Timbers has a couple of cringe monologues.
Who the fuck is Wee Timbers?
Justin Timberlake.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, Palpy's all this power that I'm not caught up on. I've seen you in a week and suddenly new power. What the fuck?
I'm just coming up with it on the spot,
Yeah,
man.
you're funny, I don't know.
Yeah. Thanks.
That came across as insincere.
No, it did. It came across actually quite sincere. Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you.
Jesus
We're going to
Christ.
become really close by the end of this. I love this monologue from Prince Charming. I love that he appeals to all their sad defeats. He's like, and what about you, Rumpelstiltskin? He's like, Rumpelstiltskin. Ah, of course. Did you ever get that child, that firstborn child you were promised? And he's like, no. And he's like, and Hook. Need I say more? And then Captain Hook does his little, oh. And I love Captain Hook in this film. I think the fact that he plays the piano, the fact that he's slamming his his hook down on it, and I love that he's clearly raging about losing his. It's just.
He's the potential rogue for me.
I think he's a high potential. I've got another one that I'm going to throw in later on.
Okay.
He's one of he's
Interesting.
definitely probably the best one, the best choice. So all the villains are kind of galvanized in this plan that they're going to get their own fairy tale ending. They're going to get the happy ending. They're going to get the ever after. So we cut back to Shrek and Co. setting off on their journey to find Arthur. Never really find out where the fuck they're going, but you know, we're going. And we get on a boat.
Worcestershire.
Oh, yeah, shit. We don't get told that yet, but yes, we're going to Worcestershire.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You didn't ruin it, actually.
Spoilers.
Spoilies. Oh, right. Guys.
Oh, wait. See, when we don't laugh, when you say something funny or obscene, you're like, laugh, that was funny. If you don't laugh, it's going to make me feel more pathetic. Laugh, say something
Well,
funny.
didn't say that. Didn't ever say it makes me feel pathetic.
On the
just the
podcast.
vibe, man.
Is that just the vibe? I give off a wee pathetic? A wee pathetic vibe? Harlots. Don't give me the blank face of death.
Right? So, I mean, that's what happens.
Point proven. Point taken.
Carry one, man.
Point taken. I'm mental. Right. We've established that. Great. Continuing on.
Did they ever give you the laugh that you'd asked for?
Punch.
No, you're the wee sad villain in the Rogues pub. I'm trying to appeal to your defeats.
My defeats. I've got badges of success. And badges of defeat.
Touches the
Touches
Terrence
the
Pine.
tenant's patch on your t-shirt.
No, I actually was touching my nipple because it gave me it was a little graze of sensitivity just to really help me. And I did it on the other side
Help
as well.
you what?
Help me feel. Right.
There, plot we buy.
Fucking okay. So,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Oh, my cheeks. They're hurting.
Please.
I had to stop some of the jokes there.
Please.
You're right. Claude's dying. Anyway, right. Fucking hell. Okay, so Shrek and Co. are sent off on their journey to find King Arthur. Well, not King, the Arthur. Finding Arthur, right? And I love this little bit because Puss in Boots is basically implied to be shagging all the cats in the city. He's like, you're my deep love, and I cannot remember your name, but I will see you again soon. And then, oh, no. You're also my love. And you, but I don't know you, but I will soon. And then they're all raging. He's like, gotta go. Very funny. I enjoyed that a lot. And I just love the idea that he's just fucking, again, living off the coattails of a tyrant. Oh, I'm the tyrant's champion. Yes, the king, the monster king Shrek. Shag me. And it's like, oh, Puss in Boots. Oh no.
Oh, wee pussy.
Wee Pussy Boots. Right, no, I was trying so hard not to do that. Anyway, so Oh, also, fitting in with this, I think Fiona's like, what if, I love how you just gripped yourself there in fear. Anyway.
It's like, let's get us out of this.
Yeah, let's get out of this. So, yeah, Fiona's like, hey, what are you going to do if Arthur doesn't come? If he doesn't come along with us? With you guys? And then Shrek very nobly says, I'll introduce him to reason and persuasion. And he goes, they're my fists, reason and persuasion. Fucking tyrant.
Yeah, I don't mean to state the obvious here, but Shrek is just kind of a brute.
In this film, he is a brute. And also, why does he keeps saying stuff like, he keeps saying he doesn't want to be a dad, right? But he makes the most shitty dad jokes ever. Like, he's built for this. If anything, will actually humanise you more if you became a dad. But he's like, nah.
By the way, it's so funny that you were making Shrek there sound like Sean Connery. This is reason and persuasion.
This is reason and persuasion. That does sound like something Sean Connery would say to Dink. Remember Dink?
God, remember Dink.
No, not Dink.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, Swanny, but being able to make dad jokes is not the key component of fatherhood.
Yes, I know. Moving on. So the ship sets sail and Fiona tells him that she loves him and she's pregnant. And they do a little back and forth. Oh, the horn's blowing so he can't, fuck it, whatever. Shite joke.
Also, do you know what I hate, by the way? And this is backtracking a wee bit, but he's talking about why he doesn't want to have babies, and he's like, well, you know what babies are like, they just like eat and shite and eat and shite and eat, and then that's all they do. So, mate, what do you do? Do you know what I mean? That's all you do. That's exactly why you want to go home, so you can just sit and shite yourself and eat. Why are you moaning if there's like 3 more of you doing the exact same thing?
Because it'd be his responsibility to clean up. That's why.
He wouldn't.
Nah, you're
He's
right.
not cleaning up.
He's never
He's got
cleaned
his wee
up.
shite pool outside.
Yeah, as long as the kids do it in the shite pool, it's fine.
I just stick it in the mud. It'll be fine. It likes it.
The mud likes it. Treat the mud. Yeah, shite. Anyway, so, yeah.
Wee fertilisers.
Wee fertilisers, Christ. Anyway, so I think this is actually really smart on Fiona's part, given everything we've seen of Shrek so far, to tell him, hey, I'm pregnant, by the way, when you're away
Bye.
from me. So you can't actually say something shocking that makes me want to break up with you or introduce me to reason and persuasion. Yeah, so very smart on her part to like placate the tyrant in this way.
Yeah.
And he goes away like fucking shitting himself.
Also, he manages not to set this boat on fire.
Yeah.
The one that he's on.
No, yeah,
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, yeah, exactly.
Not yet. Give him time. So anyway, this is when we're then introduced to the first weird Shrek dream of the series. How do we feel about the Shrek dream?
Oh, it's shocking. It does dreams well, you know?
I was going to say this actually. I mean, it touches on a lot of like classic stress dream nightmare. There's a Shrek baby on the screen. But like, have you ever had a dream about going to school or going somewhere naked?
Yeah. I used to have dreams that I'd like tuck my skirt into my tights all the time, and then I was just walking about my tights.
Yeah, that was just real life for me.
That was very tame dreams.
I literally left the PE changing rooms once, and my PE teacher was like, "Abby, you got your skirt in your hand, just got your tights on." I honestly was such a like always daydreaming, just never had a clue what was going on. She was like, "Pen, you've not put your skirt on." I was like 14. Sorry.
Jesus.
But no, I used to have stress dreams about, I still have stress dreams about going to school naked, but I would always have like a pair of boots on, and then it's actually worse because I think if you're naked, it's kind of free and you're like, okay, well, I'm naked, this is a dream, can't do anything about it. But like I would have like something small that you could kind of cover yourself with, but not enough. And I would be going about my day just like constantly aware of like, oh no, is it covering, what do I choose to cover? I've got to move backwards against this wall and everything. And I honestly think that is worse, and I have those dreams all the time. It's horrible. It's like an extra twist on the going to school naked nightmare.
Yeah, I have I think it's such a good dream sequence because I have like recurring dreams where I'm having to look after loads of little baby animals, and they're all running about all over the place and like getting hit by cars and squished and like getting stuck under things and stuff like that. So that's what this dream is exactly like, you know, but with babies.
To
instead.
clarify, the dream sequence is literally Shrek has multiple Waynes and they ruin his house and they ruin his life. That's literally it. But I have a bit of a soft spot for this because when I first watched this with my dad and my sister Kerry, we were fucking howling at this scene. We were quite a lot younger, and it was just, you know, sometimes when your parents laugh at something that you wouldn't think they would laugh at, but then they do and it makes you laugh more. So my dad was fucking killing himself every time the babies spoke. So you see when the baby goes, my dad was fucking howling. I was like, huh, that is funny then. And then when the baby goes, da da, and my dad laughed, I was like, yeah, this is funny. Right.
But that would be my pick for, that was my immediate like rogues gallery, like jumped out at me, was this.
The half donkey.
The dream ends with, I mean, I suppose it must be like donkeys waking him up in real life. So this baby looks at him and it's like a half Shrek, half donkey baby, which, hello Freud. What does that mean?
Yeah, because we see the donkey dragons are a thing when they leave, because obviously Donkey's got kids at this point.
Somewhere in the back of Shrek's mind.
Yeah,
he has thought about it.
He wants to fuck Donkey.
That is shocking. I'm going to go into a wee bit more about that later.
Oh, good.
I don't know if I want you to, but okay. I'm already scared. But no, yeah, it just looks at the camera, Shrek's POV, and it's like,
da.
Yeah, that's it. That's what he does.
Great.
And
Funny.
it's jarring.
It is jarring.
It's really disgusting.
No nice.
It's no great.
Didn't enjoy it.
So we don't like that. That's fine.
You say that as if it was like your personal idea.
So we're not using that one.
That didn't go down too well, but that's fine. That's fine. Okay, we'll workshop it. That's what the workshops are for.
So yeah.
Nah. No, I'm joking. Can I go? Yeah? I'm not joking.
What the fuck is going
What's
on?
happened?
Patter kind of came out mistimed. Anyway, let's just do a reset.
Okay. I just wanted to talk about something really quickly.
Go for it.
So obviously Fiona's pregnant. I just was thinking about the idea of disgusting, horrible, dirty ogre sex and how fucking bogging that would be.
What a tangent.
It's no, really.
What a...
You're talking about him thinking about shagging Donkey and having little Shrek donkey babies.
That's a very fair point.
And we've just talked about Fiona being... That would be shocking and so bogging, man.
Stinky.
Where are they shagging? In their little shit pool?
They're shagging in the shit pool.
No.
They're all getting fucking infections. It's no good. So on that cheery note, Shrek wakes up and he freaks out.
So bad.
Aye. And he goes and hangs out the back of the boat, looking off it forlornly, and then Donkey comes in again and sets the vibe once again with cats in the cradle with a silver spoon. Love that. Little boy blue and the man on the moon.
Come on, you can't be annoyed at the comparisons here, because
no,
this is
me.
so like the number of times in my life that I've had like an emotional moment and Swanny's like, I'm going to sing a song to cheer you up, but it's just not the vibe.
I've got a song for this.
You know, there's like, I think I sent you the TikTok and it's like this girl crying, she's like sobbing, mascara's running down her face, and she just turns the camera around and her wee brother's just doing the worm across the living room floor, like trying to cheer her up. I was like, man, that's why I love you. That's what our relationship is based on.
Cute.
But
I literally wrote, it's what I would do. So you're right. And then Puss suggests they go fishing and makes a really funny little noise. I like that. That's his. So Donkey's ploy is, let's sing a song and make everything light. And Puss in Boots is like, fuck it, let's go fishing. And it's like, right, none of those help. But then Shrek gives the little revelation here. He reveals he doesn't want to be a dad because he doesn't want to be a bad parent. Do we believe him?
I think he just can't be arsed.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool, good. Glad we all
There's
agree with
nothing that is like suggested to this point that he thinks that he's going to be a bad father. He just seems like he can't be fucked doing anything. He doesn't want to have any kind of control over anything because he's just like
It's a classic man.
can't
Like,
be arsed.
I don't deserve it. I'm terrible.
It's,
You don't want me for this.
What's that called?
Right?
Like
Is it gaslighting? It's kind of...
no, it's like something ignorance. You know, when you like purposely.
Willful ignorance.
No, it's not that. It's something else. It's like when you purposely like don't learn to how. don't learn how to do simple tasks so that you don't have to do
get
them.
asked to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll be a terrible dad. I don't know what he's expecting is going to happen at this point.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah, so look, I think we as an audience are meant to take that at face value and believe him, but I think he's a monster at this point. Like, the first two films do a really compelling argument that Shrek's not a monster, really. He's just a bit of a quirky ogre. This one's kind of putting in the fact that, he might be a fucking tyrant if he was given the reins of power. Which I Definitely I'm arguing.
So he's been given the reins of power though, and he's been like, don't want it.
Oh, so maybe he is self-aware. Maybe he knows he'll be killing monsters.
I think he's just really, really lazy.
I think
Yeah.
he's just
The film doesn't do much to try and hide that. It's pretty
Totally.
like Shrek's like, oh, I just want to be left alone to be crap
Bogging,
at things
aye.
and bogging.
Anyway, this passage across the sea eventually comes to an end, and they arrive in Worcestershire. Fucking hell. Say it.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. They arrive in Worcestershire, and then Donkey has the very funny line where he goes, like the sauce, it's spicy. Again, something I would definitely
Is that
say.
really funny?
I laughed.
Are you going to quote every line that you find mildly funny?
Yes, I am.
But this is, I was like, oh, have I missed a joke here? Like, why is it called that?
It's
Just because it's hard to say.
Yeah, that's
And that's what's funny
it's
about
just-
it.
Yep.
probably.
And it's because it's spicy.
It's kind of like Englishy.
Yeah, it's just a joke.
Okay.
It's a shite joke. I wrote funny joke, circled it, but anyway. So,
Actually, I wrote funny joke, note to self,
You did?
use this in conversation, wrote 3 hearts.
yeah, so they arrive in Worcestershire.
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 It's not that hard to say.
I know. Anyway, Worcestershire, and lo and behold, it's a high school. We're going into a high school setting because, of course, Arthur's been sent away to some medieval boarding school.
I just felt like I was brought right back to fucking 17 again, man.
Yeah, man, I was getting heavy 17 again.
I was
vibes.
getting flashbacks.
Like, again, I've written all over this, like, what age is Shrek? Stop touching the wee boys.
Oh yeah. So anyway, yeah, they come. So we'll need to give context for that. Because you just said that he showed up at school and started touching kids. Apparently, good one, Abby. So Shrek arrives here and he starts to, they start to head in looking for Arthur, and they start asking people, and we get a little bit of. We see some snippets of characters, and this is what this film does quite well, I think. It gives you little glimpses into other characters' implied narratives, and I did quite enjoy that.
Yeah, we have often been quoted loving an implied narrative on this podcast.
Loving an implied narrative.
Yeah, you've got like the kind of girls in the
Yes.
bleachers. You've
What
got
are their
like
names?
the guys getting
The D&D,
high.
and also the 2 kids playing D&D.
represent.
Yeah.
Represent.
For Swanny, not me. Just
Yeah.
wanna
You'll
make
be,
that clear.
you'll be playing soon enough. Don't you fucking give me it. But yeah,
And then you've got the guys getting high in the trailer as well off of frankincense and myrrh.
which is funny.
That is funny.
I love that.
Did you find that funny?
I didn't laugh,
I
but
thought it was a
like,
little
it
bit
is funny.
Yeah, good.
I guess.
Right, so the 2 girls, Gwen and Tiffany, what's her name? Gwen is actually one of my contenders for the Rogues Gallery, because she's just, this is the one that's talking all the time. She's like, they're gossiping, and she's like, I'd rather have the plague or be locked in an Iron Maiden than date you, Naeth, and all this shit. I find that quite funny, and she's
Yeah.
needlessly mean quite a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to put her in contention for the Rogues Gallery, just because I love the implied narrative that she's just a total bitch to everyone.
I do like that, but then I guess the thing is, like, it's not particularly roguish in the sense that, like, she's like a mean girl at high school. It's like
it fits in with the environment too
Yeah,
much.
it makes sense. With,
Okay, fair. Okay,
I
well,
think,
fuck me then, I guess.
no, I like the suggestion we're allowed to have debate, but all I'm saying is, like, encounter to that, as if we were having a conversation.
As if we were chatting, as if we were actually having a podcast to talk and discuss things.
Well,
Instead of shut each other down. Yeah, you're right.
I want to give it its flowers here.
Please.
I might be jumping ahead, but for this scene I have, one of the lines that I did think was really funny is when Shrek is like, oh, I know you're busy not fitting in, but I just thought that was very
That
funny.
is very funny. Because he said that to the D&D players, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I know you're busy no fitting in, but where's Arthur? And they're like, oh, he's jousting. He's through there jousting. And then Shrek's immediately impressed by this, because Shrek's a dickhead. He's like, oh, great. And he sees this fucking gallant knight in training jousting and knocking people off their horse, and he's like, that's our fucking king. Goes up to him, and immediately the guy is like a dickhead to him, and then immediately also reveals that he's not Arthur, but he's actually Lancelot.
Do you know that he's voiced by John Krasinski? Lancelot. You'll be able to hear it if you listen to it again. You'll be like, so
Oh,
he is?
I'm going to go back and listen to that then.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
John Krasinski.
Was he significant then?
I don't like, but
Oh my god, imagine this is his breakout role.
Yeah, no, he must have been in the office by this point, because it's 2007.
we don't have to check. It's okay.
Oh, okay, kill me. Fucking hell, man. You try to be accurate. Yes, 2007.
Never mind.
Well, he's not credited in it, so maybe he wasn't. But yes, forgot to mention Antonio Banderas is in this film as Puss in Boots. But so yeah, Lancelot's like, oh, I'm not Arthur, that's Arthur. And I actually love that Arthur is actually just a wee slapping bag, and that everyone's just fucking taking the piss and throwing things on and
Is that
pushing
a
over.
phrase? Did you just come up with that?
Made that one up, yeah. Arthur's actually
Punching bag, maybe?
Oh no, even better. I actually misquoted
Slapping
myself.
bag.
I actually misquoted myself.
Slapping bag.
No, Arthur's actually wee slappy the punching bag. That's what I originally wrote. But a wee slapping bag.
Slapping bag.
It's not bad, isn't it? Wee slapping bag. Sounds worse than a punching bag. It's like almost like he's too wee. It's too much of a boy to
It's like
punch.
the boyed version of a punching bag.
I can't punch him because he's a wee boy. Slap, slap, slap. Yeah, perfect. That's Arthur.
On that clip.
Slap, slap, slap.
So
Yeah.
Swanny saying it's alright to slap a wee boy, just no punch him.
That's not what I was meaning, but okay. And yeah, he's just obviously like the one who's cleaning up. He's like the water boy. He's doing all the pish for them. And he's like, me? Why are you looking for me? And blah, blah, blah. And then they all get kind of tussled away into school. The bell rings. And Shrek gets distracted because Gwen comes over and is like, oh, my friend Tiffany totally is like into mythical creatures. Would you date her? And I'm like, this is a weird
This is
conversation.
exactly what
Give me
happens in
17 again.
Fuck that film.
Like, would you date a 7th grader or whatever they say?
Yeah. Would you consider dating a 10th grader? Not a 7th grader.
Oh God, I'm so
Right.
sorry. I don't know how American school systems work.
Yeah, no, this is,
So many different fucking schools you go to.
yeah, and this is kind of clearly like written from the point of view of someone who went to school in the early 90s or,
Yeah.
or early
Well,
2000s.
there's a lot of classic like bullying techniques. So this is another question I was gonna post to the group. Has anyone ever pinned a note to your back at school?
No, not a nasty one.
Yeah, like as a joke with friends, if you had
Yeah.
it done to you.
Yeah, but this is especially funny because basically there's a guy I was in first year of high school. There's a guy in the class that I had a big crush on, and everyone knew, but I was like mortified at the suggestion that anyone knew. And my best pal, Holly, thank you, Holly, for this, pins a note to my back that says, I fancy, name redacted.
That is-
I'm sure he won't mind, but still, I fancy,
Is it?
no. And she pins it on my back, so then it was like in a techie class you had to go to the front and get everyone in your table pencils. So then obviously I went to the front and everyone saw it and everyone's laughing, and my honestly loveliest guy, my teacher, saw it, knew I would be like mortified, probably start greeting and running. Like, it's like something really dramatic that you would do when you're in first year of high school and you're outed for fancying someone. So he grabs the note off my back. Obviously I feel it, I turn around and I'm like, what was that? And he's like, nothing. I was like, was there a note on my back? And he's got it in his hand. It's like a bright orange post-it note. And he's like, yes. And I was like, what did it say? But like in front of everyone, he's like, I'm not going to say like, oh, I fancy. So he goes, just says, I'm fat.
Oh my
See
god.
the panic in his eyes as he like is just trying to come up with something on the spot.
I'm fat. Great.
And I'm like, what? And he's like, no. So, what? No, it doesn't. I'm like, oh, what does it say? He's like, doesn't matter. I'm just like standing there like, what's happened?
So he just immediately instilled
panicked.
two different complexes into you.
He's
At that
panicked. I
point.
was like, what's a generic insult? And it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, I was like, it says, I'm fat. I'm like, what? And he's like, what? I'm like, no, what?
Fucking hell.
It was honestly so funny. Oh,
That's
he was
shocking.
such a nice guy as well, man. You could just see like beads of sweat.
Brilliant. So, during this distraction with these girls trying to flirt with Shrek, weird. The assembly bell rings and they all get called in to whatever the hell, like the gym hall, right? And this is when Shrek decides he's going to sneak into the assembly pretending to be a mascot. So Shrek literally steals a kid's dream to be the new mascot of the school because he's a tyrant. And he shows up going, I'm the real one. You know, they have a little bit where they pretend to kick Shrek and pretend it's a cop. Or is that later on? It's later on, ignore me. Anyway, they come in and Shrek finally meets Arthur in the school. So he comes in going, I want to speak to Arthur. And they're like, he's up there. They're all in the bleachers, all in the stands sitting there. He's up there, and there's like a basketball hoop, or what's their representation of that. And Arthur's hanging off of it by his underpants because he's the loser. And wedgied, and they grab him. Shrek grabs him off, and then Arthur has a very funny line where he says, "Please don't eat me," which is a funny line. It's kind of funny. It's even funnier when this whole school is literally like, "Shrek, you should eat this kid. We fucking hate him. Eat him, eat him, eat him." Which is very funny, but in context of the film's world,
shocking.
fucking horrifying.
We're all chatting,
not very nice.
Yeah, we fucking hate you, man. You know what? We were bullying you, but we actually legit want you to be eaten by an ogre.
We want to watch you get eaten by an ogre.
The Tyrant King has come to finally munch your bones.
I don't know that he's Tyrant King. It's like, again, very similar to 17 again. I'm like, how do none of them recognise Shrek?
Like, oh fuck, that's the king of Far, Far Away. What the fuck?
The famous
Why is
guy,
he in a gym hall?
Yeah, remember the first scene in this film where everyone's like, way, when a guy dressed like Shrek shows up. I was like, where have these guys been? Why do they not know who Shrek is? Well, don't get telly in Worcestershire, I guess. Worcestershire, the high school. I don't get why that's meant to be funny.
It's just because the name's complicated for Americans, that's it.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure they call it Worcestershire, and then someone said it's Worcestershire, and then Donkey does that joke. Anyway.
And hilarity ensues.
I laughed.
But on the subject of wedgies,
No.
once
No.
But there is a joke about Donkey, which is again, what?
Little donkey dumpy drawers.
Yeah, they say that basically he's like, oh, I used to get wedged in high school all the time, and then Puss in Boots is like, how's that possible when you clearly don't wear any clothes? And he's like, I don't even want to talk about it, man. The fuck does that mean?
Yeah, right. Again, the implications that this film gives for funny jokes are horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, was there no like human rights, like, or I guess like animal rights? Do you know what I mean, like, were there no rights?
There was no rights. Lord Farquaad got rid of them, and then Shrek just never reinstated them.
Shrek was like, can't believe
like,
that.
great.
Wait, you mean you don't all like living in filth and squalor and just being on your own and minging all the
You
time?
don't like eating people? God.
So at this point, he says to him, like, look, you're the new king of Far, Far Away. You're the next in line for the throne. And he's like, really? And he's like, I takes his word for it as well. And he's like, I knew that I was royally, but like, man, fuck me. And then he gives off his wee cringy to the entire school audience.
He gives the cringiest speech ever. And
maybe you should cut this guy a little bit of slack. Maybe he might be king one day. And
maybe you'll regret it. Maybe you'll wish you'd been nicer to him. Anyway, I'm going now to start my city. And Shrek's like, don't overdo it. And he's like, I'm going to build my city on rock and roll. And it's like, fucking shut up, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
wee Justin Timberlake is bogging in this film.
Yeah, we should clarify Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake is voicing King Arthur. Arthur. Wee boy Arthur. Spoilers. Yeah, he is voicing that, and he's
fine, I guess. Like, he just speaks and then it comes out through the wee cartoon man's mouth, and that's
Thank you for explaining animation.
I know, but I mean, like, he doesn't do much more than that.
Funny. Fair point. My apologies for jumping down your
Once again, not me this time, but my pal did do this. On the last day of school, we went on a school trip. She stood up on the school bus and announced that she hated everyone. There were some boys. She'd had a really difficult, something was going on, like, in her life, and this idiot wee, like, silly boy, like, squirted her with a water pistol on the bus, and then he kept doing it, and she was like, stop doing that, and then she stood up and just was like, I've hated you all since fourth year, specifically, don't know why, but it was the start of a 45-minute bus journey, which was very quiet for the rest of the trip, and that was exactly the vibe that I got off of him, especially when, jumping ahead about 5 minutes, he's like, maybe I don't want to do this, maybe I'll just go back, and I'm like, you can't now.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, I would just die. Like, I would be like, death is better than that. You could never go back and face those people after this big speech you've just given.
No.
Terrible speech and terrible character.
A terrible speech, but also apparently qualifies him to be king.
Yeah, right. Anyway.
So we move on to, we go back to Far, Far Away, and Fiona's having her wee baby shower.
Yes, she is. Yeah. We cut back, hanging out with the other princesses, as you said. What was it? I've got a list of them. Sleeping Beauty,
Snow White,
Rapunzel.
Yep. And Cinderella.
Cinderella, of course. Why did I forget Cinderella? But yeah, Fiona's baby shower. Woo! And it's fucking alright. Snow White gives her a... This is funny though. Snow White gives her a living dwarf who pops out of a box and goes, where's the baby?
I love what she says as well. She's like, I got you the biggest one because I love you the most.
Oh yeah, that's so Snow White.
Sounds like something I'd say.
Yeah. Also, again, very funny joke. Ha, wee dwarf in a box pops out. Where's the baby? Funny, haha. The implications, once again, fucking horrified. How long was he in the box? Does he live in the box or does he love the box?
They've just traded him.
He's like, where's the baby? What is he going to do?
Like, is he enslaved to Snow White?
I think he is.
That's horrifying.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Is he one of the Seven Dwarfs?
Well, yeah, that's
What
the
do you mean? Is he
implication.
one of the 7 dwarfs?
Who else would he be?
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh my
Who
god.
the fuck else would this guy be? Did you think this is just a guy that she knows?
I just thought it was a fairy tale thing. Oh yeah, we got that. Oh my god, so she's taken this guy from his steady mining job and went, nah, fuck it, mate, you're going to be my slave.
His steady mining job.
Yeah, he had a steady mining job. There he is. That's his retirement. Well fucking done, Snow White.
So yeah, he's in a box.
Yeah,
and
he's
then
in a box.
our other pal's like, oh, I've got you this for the baby's poops. And I mean, fair, considering everything we know about Shrek. But she literally gives her a dog pooper scooper with a dog painted on it just to drive the point home. She's like, you're so disgusting and you live like animals. I don't expect your baby to poo in a nappy. Here's a like pooper scooper that you would use for a dog.
Yeah.
Merry baby.
Yeah, and then
what opinion do you hold of me? Like, they all knew her as like a really beautiful princess human.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you're minging now.
It's
So
almost
here's a man in a box and a thing for picking up dog shit.
it's
Have a nice life.
It's almost like, oh yeah, we really support you and your choice, but here's your shit picker because you'll need it. It's like, right, man.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, and then they're gonna go on to say like, oh, your marriage is gonna fail because
Yeah.
you're not gonna have any intimacy in your relationship
Yeah, yeah.
anymore because you've got babies in the way. And she's like, right, guys, do you have wains? What the fuck is this about?
Thanks, guys. That's so lovely. But then suddenly,
The
Prince
wee misogyny
Charming.
trip.
What?
The wee misogyny trip.
Yeah, they are the wee misogyny trip, aren't
They
they?
are.
The princesses. We'll get
The wee pick-me's.
wee pick-me's. Well, suddenly, Prince Charming and the villains attack. And it's a full-out assault on the kingdom of Far, Far Away. And they start just burning and pillaging and taking over and attacking. And we get one of my favourite jokes, which definitely qualifies Captain Hook for the Rogues Gallery. And we'll probably get him to it, in my opinion. Captain Hook sees a young boy and he goes, well, if it isn't Peter Pan. And then his mum goes, his name's not Peter. And then he goes, shut it, Wendy. I pissed myself. I love Captain Hook in this film. I love the little implied narrative that he's just going up to every Wayne that he sees, Peter Pan, and just fucking killing them all, or whatever.
Massacring Waynes.
Massacring Waynes and pretending they're all Peter Pan.
Massacring wee boys.
What
This entire film is an assault on wee boys.
Yeah, absolutely it is. He's just fucking wanting to get them gone.
Also, he's just like, Prince Charming rocks up and I'm like, I don't know whether this is like meant to be the joke or whether it's just funny because it's not being self-aware. But he rocks up with like Captain Hook like bearing his hook behind him, and then the guy who's got like one eye in the middle of his face.
Cyclops.
Aye. And then he's like, you freaks. But like flanked by them, and he's referring to the princesses as freaks.
Yeah.
He's like, you freaks better do whatever. And I'm just like,
Okay.
look at your wee roundup of pals, man.
Yes.
Who are you
I
guys
know.
then?
I know. I've just written here, deeply unsettling from Captain Hook. You alright? You alright, man? Do you want to talk about this? Anyway, so as this is happening, Far, Far Away is collapsing because, you know, their military's apparently terrible. Shrek's underfunded it to feed his giant ego and food, I imagine, so they've got no army. And Captain Hook is able to take over. I love the idea that Captain Hook is able to take over a city. Anyway, the princesses, however, escape. But Pinocchio, the lads, the boys, the boys, Pinocchio and Co, Gingy and all that are caught. And then Captain Hook begins to interrogate Gingy. And this is so funny. We have this ridiculous little flashback as Gingy like relives his entire life from being baked as a cookie to seeing his dad or the Muffin Man to then everything that happened in the first few films. And he's just cuts out of it and he's just singing Gumdrop Lollipop. And it's just like, right, okay, cheers for that, Gingy. You're useless. So Charming then successfully interrogates Pinocchio. And that's when we get that little back and forth where Pinocchio's trying really hard not to lie with all these double entendres, double bluffs. It goes on a little bit too long. It's kind of funny. It's fine. And eventually they find out from Pinocchio that Shrek is away to find the heir. Because that's obviously who Charming wants to get. He wants his revenge on Shrek. So then he's like, the last heir. And he sends Hook, go deal with it. Again, love this elevation of Captain Hook to main villain. Main henchman. He's like, I'll fucking kill him.
Second in command.
I get to kill another wee boy. Brilliant. This one, Arthur, that's close to Peter. Let's go. Set on it. I get to go across the sea to Worcestershire. Fuck yeah, let's do it. Piracy. And Hook sets off.
I don't know at which point in these scenes it is, but I've done just a big sad face because Charming referring to himself as Daddy.
Oh, that comes up. That comes up in a bit.
Okay.
That's not yet.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but yeah,
Really
so did
bummed
I.
me out.
Yeah,
It
bums
was
me
just-
out. Yeah,
the whole sentence is boggin.com.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. So we then cut back to Arthur on the ship heading back to Far, Far Away with Shrek and co. And Arthur is buzzing about becoming king. He's so fucking, I can't wait to do this. Swiftly brought down by Donkey and Puss saying, aye, but what about the famines? That's pretty difficult. Oh, poisoning, aye, you might get poisoned. Murder. Plenty of murder when there's kings about. War, man. Plague. Oh, you're going to have a great time. And Shrek's like, guys, shut the fuck up. Oh, again, this is really funny. It's quite funny jokes. Ha ha ha. But once again, the horrors of medieval life are apparently still a thing that affect people in this fantasy world. Like, the implications are terrible. Like, what the fuck? Like, all this still exists and we're having a laugh? Solve it.
It all exists in our world and we're having a laugh.
Aye, but we've kind of fixed the plague. We can laugh about, well, we've fixed the
We
plague.
haven't fixed the
No,
plague.
humanity is
I want
fixed
to
the bubonic
distance
plague.
myself from Swanny saying that we can laugh about the plague. I personally don't feel like we can laugh about the
We
plague.
can laugh about the bubonic plague. No one gets that anymore.
Yeah, they do.
Who does?
It's still a thing.
Not really.
It is.
Aye.
Not enough, though.
It's in America. It's in like California and
Aye, like
stuff.
10 folk.
No, a lot.
No, the,
The
the
bubonic
plague
plague.
is
The bubonic
Plague's
plague.
back.
Yeah.
about,
Fucking
man. It's
hell.
like I never really fully went away.
I thought it did. Anyway, well, apparently, that's horrible. Okay, so yeah, again, startling revelations about this apparently silly, ironic world. No, it's not. People die
I
of
thought
plague.
you were referring to the real world
Oh,
there.
I am as well. No, I am. So anyway, Arthur agrees with me and is like, yeah, I don't want to be king if this is what's going on. And he deliberately crashes the ship trying to flee. Yeah, trying to flee. He crashes the ship. He's trying to end it all.
He rips the wheel off.
Shrek rips
Shrek
rips the wheel
rips
off.
the
I was like,
fucking
Arthur
wheel.
rips the wheel off.
Oh my
Wait,
god,
wait,
it's Shrek once again.
wait, what?
Destroys
Arthur
another
couldn't-
ship.
See, I must have been writing my
Tries to
notes
kill
at this
his
point.
entire crew.
Yeah.
Fucking suicide mission for what?
Who, Shrek or... you talking about Shrek?
Aye, because he
Shrek's
rips the wheel out.
Yeah, so I must have been writing this
Crashes
down.
into the cliffs.
I must have been writing this down, just thought Arthur did it. That makes much more sense than
Arthur
Shrek.
does not have the upper body
capabilities.
strength.
I thought he was just maybe fighting with Shrek and then it crashed into a rock and I was being funny about it. But no, that's Shrek being a monster. Yep, so they get marooned on somewhere. I guess it's an island. Don't really know. The geography's not really specified much in this film. But then, apart from Worcestershire. Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, thank you. I don't know what's wrong with me. But Arthur runs away once they're marooned, and Shrek contemplates literally bashing him on the head to get him back to Far, Far Away. Tyrant. He's like, oh, could bash him with this big log. And then Donkey's like, what? He's like, I'm only kidding. Unless I could just do this. He's awful.
Listen, man, I'm on his side here.
What, kill Arthur?
Aye, he's a prick.
Yeah, he's a prick.
He's
Yeah, fair.
annoying. Like,
He's whiny.
He is whiny.
also, he can't, like you say, he can't go back. What else is he going to
Yeah.
do?
Burnt his bridge there.
I know he has. He's
Maybe-
burnt his bridges.
he either has-
Blaze of glory.
He was literally already the bottom of the rung, literally getting chanted by his peers to be eaten by an ogre. That was before he made his shitty speech. What if he comes back, he just gets shot on sight? What is this? So yeah, don't know what he's thinking. But anyway, he's heading off. Shrek catches up to Arthur and he hits out with like the worst da patter I've ever heard. And it's just, he's trying to be like, oh, hip and young, all this, and it's, if that's not your message,
it's so
if
bad,
that's not,
man.
if that's
I know
not on
exactly
your
what you're
level,
talking
then
about.
I'm sorry. And no, I didn't. And it's just like, it's not funny at all.
Wasn't funny in 17 again.
No.
It's no
Wasn't-
funny in
yeah,
Shrek
right,
the Third.
And
He
it keeps
says
going.
straight tripping to him.
Yeah, he says a bunch of pish, and it's not funny. But then Arthur saves it by running away yelling, "Help! I'm being kidnapped by a monster trying to relate to me." I laughed.
That was okay. I thought that was quite
That get
funny.
your approval? Well, we got a little bit acidic there.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
I?
noticed that.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Apologies. So he runs away straight into fucking other contender for Rogues Gallery.
Yeah, I mean, this has got to be...
It's going to be hard between Merlin and Captain Hook for me.
I feel like he's just too obvious to be Rogues Gallery.
Maybe.
He was trying way too hard. That was the
Oh,
thing.
yeah. He heard about Rogues Gallery and he thought, I'm going to
I want
be...
to be a part of the Rogues Gallery.
Crazy. Anyway, so just to
Crazy.
clarify, who's it? Idol? Someone Idol? Oh, is it Robert Idol? No. John? No. It's a famous British actor playing this
Right.
guy. It's Mr. Idol.
Eric Idle.
Eric Idol. That's it. That's who's
I know
playing
that
Merlin.
because I just photographically
So, yeah.
remembered it from the credits. I don't know who that is.
So we meet Merlin in his wee fucking hut, and he is a maniac. So here's a list of things that we immediately learn about Merlin in this little 5-minute interaction. He's having nervous breakdowns. He eats rocks. He offers primal scream therapy and starts to demonstrate that by screaming at them. He also plays the drums. He hits kids and, just screams at them that they're lame and stuff like that. There he is.
He's on the screen.
See, this is the thing.
mad
Look at
Merlin.
that guy. He is shaking so hard trying to be in Rogues Gallery. He's
Yeah.
like, please put me in Rogues Gallery. Please. I'm weird.
sorry,
Look,
I don't.
I'm literally fucking chewing on rocks here. Put me in Rogues Gallery. I say no. We're
Claude, you
not
find me
doing it.
funny? Cookie. No, not at all. Yeah, he's not in it.
Claude
now.
says no. He's out.
Sorry, I don't.
He's trying too hard.
He's tried too hard.
But then he starts hitting out with some smoke magic. He says, "Hey, come on with me, and we'll go for a journey into the soul." And they're all like, "Yeah, sure, why the fuck not? We're doing nothing else important, apparently. Let's get a journey into the soul." So this is when Merlin starts playing his drums, and everyone's getting shite visions in the smoke. But then Arthur's like going, "I see myself, abandoned, a bird getting abandoned by another bird." And then Merlin, I did laugh at this, is like, yeah, keep it going. And then Arthur has a bit of a breakdown and goes, "Yeah, I've been abandoned. The birds left me. Oh my God." There's silence. And then Merlin goes, "Real fucking nutcase you are, man. Real messed up. Didn't expect that. Good luck with that."
It's a rare laugh.
Aye, right? And it's like, okay, Merlin, you prompted this. But this prompts Shrek to talk to Arthur about stepping up.
Can I just check, who is Arthur's dad? Can I guess he's related to
It's the king.
Fiona?
Yeah, it's the king.
No, it's not.
Must be.
No.
So wait, he's the...
What? So we're trying to say that he's fucking
Fiona's big brother.
No.
Who is he?
I don't know.
Well,
It
the
doesn't
film doesn't
clarify it.
bother
It doesn't tell you.
with that.
But
He's just...
I don't think the implied narrative is that the Frog King had like a previous marriage. Because he's younger than Fiona as well. So that would suggest that he cheated on
Or unless that's their
fucking
kid.
Julie Andrews.
Unless that's their kid and they were like, right, one in the tower, one in fucking boarding school. We'll see how it goes.
And we just don't ever mention him to anyone. Who is he?
Who is
And who's
Arthur?
his dad that abandoned him?
His dad is the king. It has to be.
No, his dad can't be the king.
They
His
would
dad can't be the king.
clarify it.
But also, if he
He's
does
too
have
old.
a dad...
He's supposed to be like, what, 16? He's in high school.
So?
That guy's, he's a frog. He's not been popping out.
But he wasn't a frog in the second movie. He was only a frog at the end of the second movie after the curse got broken. He's been
He was
shagging all
old.
the time.
How's his
He's older
dad
than the
not in
second
line for
film
the
as-
throne?
Oh, sorry?
How's his dad not in line for the throne?
Who's dad?
Arthur's
He
dad.
died, I suppose.
I thought he abandoned him. Did he
Abandoned him
abandon him
and
then
died.
die?
I think it's the Frog King's his son. I'm going with that. And I'm going to check out the plot in great detail after this.
In my theory, then they've both been they've both had extramarital affairs because the Queen's name is...
Oh my God.
What's the Queen's name? The Queen. The Queen is a spitting image of Prince Charming. It took me so long in this film to realise that, like, when I actually put the pieces together of what the second one was about, like that, they're obviously, he's not Fiona's brother.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense that they look so
That was so...
inexplicably alike. Like,
They do.
I think that they tried to save, like, in animation sometimes it's like they use the same backdrops or they use the same sort of like graphics characters, they just recolor it slightly to save money on having a new thing drawn. Like, what happened to the budget when they were trying to draw the Queen or Prince Charming for the first time and just used like copy paste and changed a few details? What are you doing with this pet tangerine?
I'm not doing anything.
Selling my point here. I'm absolutely...
I'm trying so hard to listen. He keeps rubbing a tangerine on my wee hand. It's so disgusting.
Lies. And slander.
Literally, you can see it right there on camera. It's like, oh, you can't see it.
Now you can.
Oh,
Yeah,
now you
okay.
can. I was like, are you just going to gaslight me here?
Right. Yes. Inexplicably alike.
They
Absolutely.
look so much alike.
Who would a fairy godmother have children?
Denny.
Why would she not be able to have kids?
God, and he doesn't even have magic either. He's that shy and he doesn't have magic.
I generally just think.
What, hold on. Why are we glazing over this? What's the arbitrary rule that fairy godmothers can't have wains? That's so random.
She's a mythical creature. Why would she not pass those genes down to him?
So yeah, the question is like, why is Prince Charming not get any magic?
Oh, because he's shite.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I think magic's not like hereditary. It's like, are you good enough for it?
No.
Nah,
No.
you're shite, mate. You're
It's
not
like
getting
Wizards
magic.
of Waverly Place. He didn't win the Triwizard tournament, so he doesn't get his magic.
Is that canon? The Wizards of Waverly Place?
Oh,
Only
Yeah, they-
one sibling gets to be magic.
What,
Yeah.
the Triwizard
So they're
tournament?
all, they
Yeah.
all, no, the Triwizard Tournament, that's a Harry Potter thing.
That's what
Oh,
I
is
thought.
it?
But like in Wizard of Waverly Place,
That's really
they
lame, isn't
all
it?
grow up with magic, and then when they reach adult age, only one sibling gets to keep their magic.
Yeah, they've got to kind of do a
They're all in
competition
competition
together.
Who
with each
got
other.
it? Who gets
Alex,
it
of course.
Fucking hell.
The
that's-
brother deserved it, man. He was
No,
definitely.
he didn't. He sucks. They're so mean to her.
Right, I'm moving on from Wizards of Waverly Place.
But the point is, it is creepy how much Princess Fiona's Maw and Prince Charming look alike. There is no way that's not her son.
I think.
Like, if we can get a side by side comparison edited in here or whatever, oh my god!
They
Like,
look similar. I think it's just lazy. I don't think they're related. I'll take the fun thing.
But we love an implied narrative.
we love an implied
I
narrative.
like the implied narrative that they were like sleeping with other folk. Maybe they're swingers, man. Maybe they're swinging
they're
in far, far
swingers.
away.
Just like all other royal families in history, just shagging about incest and just creating demons. Anyway, that's my opinions on the monarchy out of the way. Continuing on, so Shrek is trying to talk to Arthur about stepping up. Oh god, that's
Right?
uncanny.
Like, look at they're the same person. So like, this is Queen Lillian here, and then that's Prince Charming. It's like the same rendering. Like, they just look the exact same.
There we go.
Yeah, that is.
It's quite uncanny.
Same eyes,
We're going
even.
to do a deep dive into that. Seems like right. So, as I'm saying, around this little fireplace, after Arthur's shite vision quest, Shrek starts talking to him about stepping up. Hey, man, listen, I get that it's scary, but you need to step up and be a king. You need to do it. And Merlin immediately kills the vibe by playing some sad music. And he's like, sorry, thought I'd set some music for the vibe for your big heart-to-heart moment. And it's like, again, I would do that. I have done that.
You have done that.
I'm very funny that way.
You used to do that to me all the time.
Yeah, I did. You'd be like, tell me something sad, and I'd just be like, do, 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 something, music.
Get me greet in the car with
Tubular bells.
Tubular bells.
Okay.
That was just all of October and November, really.
Everything was scored with tubular bells.
So anyway, Shrek talk. This is quite revealing as well. Shrek and Arthur start talking about their dad issues. Interesting that we were talking about his dad there. Shrek reveals his dad tried to eat him. All I'm saying.
Cover in
Is he going to
barbecue
try and eat
sauce.
his wings?
Yes. Generational trauma has made Shrek the tyrant that he is.
Shrek isn't lazy and he's not worried about being a bad dad. He's just hungry. He's like,
he's
Fiona,
starving.
let's not faff about with these wains. I'm hungry. I'll just eat it. Problem solved.
The longest prepared dish in the world.
The longest prepared dish in
I
the
want to
world
see
is a
Shrek's dad.
Shrek win.
Shrek, shocking as he is, I want to see his dad. What is his dad like?
I also want that in the fifth film. And I want all the high school students that we Prince
grown up.
Charming talk back to,
Grown up.
like taking a mutiny over the kingdom.
Yes,
Yeah.
great. So, meanwhile, as they're having this little heart-to-heart, we're getting some revelations about where Shrek's trauma and tyranny comes from. It's hereditary. Love that. Goes well with my theory. Meanwhile, as I was saying, the princesses wander through the catacombs of the city. And...
Because they've hidden from Prince Charming, just to clarify.
Yeah. Sorry, of course. I did mention they fled, but maybe got caught up in our bullshit. They have fled and managed to get away from Prince Charming while Gingy and co get interrogated. So, the boys. So Snow White mentions that she won a beauty contest. And then Rapunzel's like, yeah, the one that was rigged. Again, quite funny. But once again, the implied narrative that rigged elections are just a factor of this world as well. Fucking terrifying. It's really disturbing, man. They just... Like, what are we not hearing about? Like, do you know, we keep hearing these little things, oh, there's a plague. Oh, this person died. Oh, this is happening. Oh, they eat their kids. Oh, funny joke. It's like fucking Harry Potter when J.K. Rowling will just hit out with something that's like, haha, light and fancy. Wizards used to shit themselves and magic it away. And you're like, man, I've seen the films. I've seen this lived in world. You can't be hitting out with fairy tale flipping jokes of lore. Because I've seen it, and it's horrifying to think about these characters just going, fuck it, clean up my shit, or fuck it, there's rigged elections in this fairy tale world, and yeah.
It's a beauty contest, though, man. Chill it.
Fuck me. That's the line. That's the line.
You getting really raging about like
I just don't know how you
the
brought
X Factor winner, like the votes being skewed, or like just Swanny is really, really passionate about pageantry being fair.
Yes, I am. Beauty,
often been
beauty is not in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is in the eye of the voter. Hate that. No. Yeah, I was just being funny. Cheers.
So, just to move on, you've got they're going through the catacombs, and then you eventually find out that they've actually been double crossed by Rapunzel.
Fucking Rapunzel.
And this is the point where she's like, "Look, I'm on Prince Charming's side clearly because they want to go out." And then he's like talks about hurting them,
Yep.
and then she's like, "Oh, like you said you weren't going to do this," and then
You said you weren't going to hurt them.
and then he goes, "Pookie. Not here, Kitten Whiskers. Daddy will discuss it later."
Yeah, objectively gross. Sorry, I fucking do not.
He's like the least
She
daddy.
calls him Pookie, and he goes, "Daddy will discuss it later."
I will discuss it later.
I just
But
know for a
yes.
fact that he's like just like no one has ever called him daddy. He's just
No,
trying to
he's
like
dubbed
drop
himself
it into
daddy.
conversation
He
to
said, yeah, you can
occasionally.
marry me, but you gotta call me daddy.
Daddy.
Daddy. So, they're captured by Prince Charming. And then we jump back to Shrek and Co. again. And this is when Captain Hook shows up and the villains attack. And again, Hook is being mental and he shows up playing the piano. And he's wheeled in like by some fucking wacky, tree people. And they get attacked by tree men.
Is this where also they rock up and they're like, "Whoa, what's happened here?" And the streets are like a wasteland.
No, not yet. not
No,
yet, not
they're
yet.
they're back on Worcestershire.
This is
Or no, they're on
this is
the
an
they're
island.
on
This is
the they're on the
The
like
island,
shipwrecked
okay.
island.
Or where the hell they are.
Patch that. Sorry,
Yeah.
take that again.
No, you're fine.
Jumped
So the
ahead.
tree, yeah, no, you're fine. So Hook shows up playing the piano. He's wheeled in by like mad, evil tree people. Hilarious. Love Hook. Wacky, silly bullshit is a hit for me. And as I say, these evil tree people surround Shrek and the company, and they fight them off. It's a fight scene. It is what it is. Shrek's kicking things, and eventually Hook flees away, gets dragged off by the tree people, and he says, "Oh, you're never going to win. We have Fiona. Charm. It's only a matter of time. Your days are rude. Whatever the fuck." And that's when Shrek learns that Fiona is in danger. Oh my god! Of course. And this is when Justin Timberlake steps up a little bit and actually does a good bit of acting for this film.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I have specifically wrote in this part that this scene felt so flat for me. Basically, he tries to, I don't know, like get sympathy off of Merlin so that he'll use his magic to teleport them back to far, far away so that they can go and defend Fiona. And it's like a weirdly long scene where he's just greeting and being like, "Oh, what's gonna happen if I don't get teleported?" Because Merlin's like, "I don't want to use magic anymore, man. I'm off it. You know, like just leave
Says
me
the guy
alone."
that just gave a vision quest for free without unprompted. Anyway.
I watched this yesterday and I don't remember.
Well, exactly. It falls so flat
Any
you
of
wouldn't
this.
remember.
Yeah.
Because he's like, "No, I'm not teleporting you back to far, far away." And then fucking wee Timbers is like, "Watch this," and then he like starts greeting for a bit, like for 6 minutes. It
Imagine
feels
that
like.
being your move. Like, sorry guys, I've got this one. Hold on a second. Just burst out crying.
So
What?
yeah, he just
That's your you're
That's
gonna
your
be
bet?
king, man?
That's your-
You
that's
think
your-
you're gonna be king?
That's your king move. I mean, I guess it is political theatre, but you know, fuck off.
Just starts sobbing.
Yeah. If anything,
It fell flat. It was shocking. It was
I-
not
Yeah,
good
it was
acting.
bad.
I need Justin Timberlake out of everything except for "Can't Stop the Feeling."
and social network. No, okay. I thought it was kind of good because it was clearly meant to be shite sounding and kind of be a bit ironic. I'm doing this anyway. Fine, he's pish. I don't care. Don't care enough to argue this point. But yeah, Merlin is such a wild card though, right? That he agrees to do
He's
it.
trying to be.
Yeah, he's trying. Yeah, he's really trying his hardest, but he literally
Guys, I'm cookie.
crazy, whoa, and he cracks his
Shut
knuckles.
up, man.
Oh, that was a terrible crack of my knuckles. That was bad. That's better. He cracks his knuckles and literally fucking blows up a rock next to Donkey. Straight up, guys, he almost killed fucking Donkey.
When the fuck have you ever said straight up, guys?
When I wrote it down here.
You wrote it down and said it out loud.
Yeah. Trying out some new pattern.
You're Shrek like 15 minutes ago. He was straight
up,
tripping,
I'm
guys.
retiring. The bear's in front of me. It's
Oh, he
me.
said, I'm retiring. Actually, just pushed the microphone out of the way. That was the last we ever saw Swanny. I'm retiring from being funny.
But yeah, I wrote at this point, I think Merlin would be perfect as the Tyrant King Shrek's court wizard. They're both equally mad. Yeah, I didn't think you guys would enjoy that chat either.
No.
I thought I didn't enjoy it, but I'm just like, I mean,
That's you chatting it.
like,
Aye. So Merlin, despite his I don't do magic, even though he does, clearly transports them home.
Aye, with his cock out.
Oh, aye. That's the heavy
His wee,
implication.
his wee cock's out.
He cocks out.
I don't remember that bit.
Aye, he's like, your wee gown's a bit short, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Just lots of cock chat in this film.
Anyway, Merlin transports them home. But what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, do you think I think this is where this film actually falls like really flat for me. Is I remember like a lot of everyone being like, oh, that Shrek film was actually really good. Like that children's film was great because adults could enjoy it too, because there's adult humor that kids couldn't pick up on. But like, you know, it was something for everyone, and it actually was genuinely funny even for grown-ups. I feel like this film is just like, okay, there's a scene from a kid's film. Let's add in one innuendo, but it's not particularly clever
Yeah.
or like well thought of or well engineered. It feels like an afterthought.
Yeah,
like
it's
that's
like
where
in
like
Toy Story 3 where you have like Buzz, you know, when he gets his settings changed and he can only speak Spanish. That's funny for kids because he's just like being ridiculous and goofy, but you're also like, oh, that's quite funny as an adult because you understand what's going on. Whereas this is just like, funny joke, there's a guy's cock. Like,
and it's like kind of alludes to it, but it's just like it's not clever, and it doesn't feel like an actual double entendre that's like naturally like there. It's like here was the scene, and then we just added in this kind of like vague
we've added a
adult
cock.
reference.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
it's weird.
okay.
So that's actually something that I'll bring up when the critics talk about it, because that's kind of what they draw attention to as well. I can do it now if you like, or we can just
No,
let's just
keep going. That's fine. But yes,
get through the plot first.
they Merlin transports them home, but Donkey and Puss in Boots are body swapped, which isn't that funny.
Because we had to have a transformation in this film as well.
They always do that. Whatever.
Like again, I was like, why have they done that? That's
They
got
had
no
it in the
relevance. I was like,
second
oh,
There is one funny joke from it though. Again,
there?
an implied narrative. This back and forth of Puss and Donkey as one another reveals that Donkey is apparently constantly suppressing his ee-aw noises, his donkey noises. I love the idea that literally Donkey is constantly repressing this beastly urge just to be a fucking obscene bastard. Yeah.
but no trying that hard.
They're not trying that hard. Yeah, again, horrifying implications. Is Donkey always like this? Just suppressing the beast inside?
Is
Suppressing
Swanny
the
always like this? Just suppressing the beast inside.
the evil swan. Yep, that's me. Yep, literally. So that was funny. Apart from that, the jokes fall flat in that regard for me. I wasn't like vibing.
There was one other part of this transformation that made me laugh, but again, it's more just like because of the sort of comparisons in our life. There's a point where obviously Puss in Boots has got this famous kind of like puppy eyes type thing that he does, and that always lets him get his way. And now that he's trapped inside Donkey's body, he tries to do it, and I'm just like, this is just me when I'm like hungover, looking absolutely minging after a night out. You're like, oh, please, can I have the last Diet Coke? And like looking at people like, oh, like please feel sorry for me, but it's just really not cute because I look absolutely boggy.
Like, that was cute 12 hours ago before you fucked it.
The most stinking I've ever looked in my life, and everyone's just like, no.
Yeah, this is why we're pals, because I would still get you the Diet Coke and
It's
be like, here you
true.
go, man, sit
I
down.
actually got that photo.
Yeah, literally. On screen if we have time. Aye, so Puss as Donkey tries to do the cute face, as I said, as you were saying, on some arresting guards.
So they're back in far away at this
You're
point.
right, yeah,
They've been
right here.
back in far away. Everything's in disarray.
The end
There's
of the city, it's a nightmare. This is when you see...
This is what I was going to say. So like they're like, oh, it's like the town's like a wasteland. There's like chaos happening everywhere. Everything's falling into disarray. Like there's things just burning in the distance, and I'm like, and we're meant to believe that this would have been better if Shrek was here. Like I feel like it was like a ball head away from that before he left.
Well,
like,
to be fair, they're just burning the streets here. Shrek was burning like ships, killing knights,
killing folk by
burning
accident.
the ballroom down.
Just
assaulting Filsworth.
Right? So I'm like, this was already like this. Don't make it out as if this is because Prince Charming's been in charge for 12 hours.
Right.
Like, they've not been away that long. It was already like this before you left. Like,
this is the rogues as well. This isn't Prince Charming. I feel like he'd keep the place quite nice. He'd just have a lot of pictures of himself and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas the rogues are roguing it up.
unrealistic. This chaos would be if Shrek was king. Prince Charming is too immaculate / vain for this.
Yes.
There you go. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. But yeah, that's when they get... as they're coming into the city, they learn some information from Pinocchio. Again, I thought it was going to be a really funny scene because Pinocchio's quite a funny character in these films. So is Gingy, but they don't really do much with it. He's just like in a box. They have to put money in to hear him sing a song. And I kept waiting for the joke, and there wasn't really one. Fine. But then they get arrested by the guards, and that's when Donkey tries to do... Puss as Donkey tries to do the sad face, and this was a funny line. The guards go, "Ugh, kill it." That was funny.
Kill it.
Aye, fucking please
fucking kill it, man.
But to avoid arrest, they do another really funny bit. They pretend to be part of Charming's play, and this is actually Arthur's little ploy. He's like, this is Shrek. He's going to be performing in the play tonight with Charming, and Shrek immediately just gets into that prima donna
For
mood.
reference, there's been posters up everywhere of saying like there's a performance of Prince Charming versus whatever the fuck the fucking Happily Ever After, I guess it must be called.
Yeah.
And it's showing tonight, so they're pretending to be actors in the play Happily Ever After, which is something that Prince Charming's putting on. It's ridiculous. He's like, I'm not gonna just let my wee posse kill Shrek. I want to kill Shrek through the medium of theatre.
Yeah, it's like a snuff play.
Yeah, snuff play.
Taken straight from the Count Olaf book of villainy. He's like, I'm going to enact my nefarious deeds, but like in a play that no one knows is real, but it is real. Haha. I'm like, but that was so much better when he did it. That film that I enjoyed.
Totally. So yeah, but I do enjoy them. Shrek jumps into this prima donna. I'm going to lose it if they don't stop interrogating me. And then Arthur seizes the initiative and asks for a ridiculous, like, diva-esque request. Oh, do we have these nuts? Does he have the jalapeno chips? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, And then Shrek's like, I just lost it. I found that funny. Again, finally, you guys. Yeah, like, I'm no bar.
Listen, I know that it's too late for this, but you didn't have to quote every single... tiny line that you find funny, that it's only funny if you're watching the film, and be like, that was funny because we all watched the film, man. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to instigate a bit of patter with it, but clearly we're getting fucking
But you're just
nowhere.
being like, here's the patter. It wasn't funny in the first place, so how are you supposed to play off unfunny patter?
By
And be
saying
like,
that, just say.
well, there you go, I've made it funny.
There you go.
For the first time this podcast.
Patter.
You're welcome.
We've been funny. We've been quite funny. I think we've been doing okay. Anyway, Shrek gets.
Just in this respect, I don't mean the entire thing. I'm not that shocking.
Shrek gets to Prince Charming. He arrives. He finds Prince Charming, and Prince Charming immediately presses the security button. Of course he does. It's in Prince Charming's dressing room, and immediately Charming's all like, oh no, don't hurt me. And Shrek's like, I'm going to fucking kill you. Where's Fiona? And then suddenly Shrek and Arthur are captured. And then this is when, right, how do we feel about this? Shrek does a fake scare away with Arthur, saying like, oh, I was next in line for the throne, but I just needed a fool to do it for me instead because I didn't want it. He's trying to do that to like, get him out of harm's way. I think that's Shrek just being legit.
Aye, man. He's saying that. He's like trying to act like he's doing the whole teen thing, Moulin Rouge, where he's like, oh, I'll tell him a lie and say I don't love him, so that he leaves and I save him. But he's just telling the truth. He's like, oh, I just needed some other dick to do it because I couldn't be arsed.
We were all there for the start of the film, man. We've not had any emotional revelation since then to prove otherwise. That is actually just what's happening.
Good. I'm glad you guys agreed, because I was feeling like, am I
missing something?
Am I being too cynical here? Because obviously we're meant to know, or the audience is meant to think that, oh, he's doing this, scare them off and be mean so they leave and save themselves. But I just full on. Also, he's just being legit.
Like he was like, oh, like Shrek would never say those things about you. I was like, he called him a loser on the boat like yesterday.
He threatened to batter him with a log.
Yeah, it's like he's like, don't believe that you're the nicknames that they call you. It's like you've at this point today called him a loser about 3 times.
Yeah, you've literally you got the vibe, you got the measure of Arthur pretty well, and just like taking the fucking piss out of him. But yeah. So, meanwhile, so Arthur leaves, Shrek is captured, and Charming's like, well, gonna kill you now. It's all worked out. But we cut to Fiona and the princesses, and they're now in a dungeon, because they've obviously been captured. They're in a dungeon, and this is when we get, I quite like this moment, it's the princesses posing to be rescued.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
They're just like, Fiona's like, what are you doing? Let's get this working out, ladies. How are we gonna get out here? And they're like, the Sleeping Beauty pretends to be asleep. Rapunzel lets her hair. No, Rapunzel's not there. Sorry. Cinderella's like sitting there getting ready. Snow White's lying down as if she was going to get woken up, and then they're just waiting to be rescued. And it's quite funny. And like they could have milked it and it'd have been shit. They don't. It's like one little scene of a joke, and I was like, that's kind of funny.
But Fiona's not like other girls.
Yeah,
and then there's her mum.
Girl.
And this is when we get the one bit of fucking bizarre characterization and character development for the Queen Mother, Julie Andrews' character, what's her name? Not Lilibet. That's fucking the actual Queen. What's her name? Lillian. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Go for it. Play it. She headbutts a fucking wall. So apparently she can just headbutt through walls. And it's like, haha.
Why?
Yeah. Oh, where do you think you got your fighting from your father? You got it from me. And it's just such a fucking...
that common fighting technique, putting your head through a cement wall.
It just feels like they're like, right, they're captured. How do we get them out of here? Oh, Lillian can do it. Haha, yeah, she headbutts walls.
Why?
Is that your thing?
Why is she...
What's your thing?
Why did she train for that? When did she learn she could do that? And why is it that every time it's like, but this female's a strong warrior female. She's not going to, to be fair, see if I was in a dungeon, I would probably be sitting about being like, fuck, what am I going to do? I don't think I'd be trying to smash through walls in my head. And I don't think that makes me a bad person. Look at these lame, little women who just want to sit and be rescued.
Fucking lame bitches just like sitting in the dungeon, not staving their head in with a fucking stone.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't.
How did she learn she could do this? Was it training, or did she just realise she could do it one day? Either way is terrible.
Yeah, I just don't think this is...
It's just not really the same as opening a bottle with your teeth, is it? That's what she's trying. It's like the far, far away equivalent. Like, look what I can do.
But yeah, it's just such a mad, weird character shift. But yeah, they get out and they get ready for war. Got a little montage, they're putting paint on, and like war paint on, like someone burns a bra. I guess that's funny because they're women, and women have burnt bras in protest. Funny. But they're ready for war and they're broken out. Meanwhile, the play is setting up.
The play with that play.
Tis I, upon my knees.
Spectacular.
Love it. Yeah, literally. Again, we've got another film with a play within a play. So Snow White, at this point, so the play's setting up, and we cut to the outside of Far, Far Away, the gates of the city, or the gates of the castle, I guess. City, whatever.
We're back in Shrek 2 again.
Yeah, no, it's literally the end of the Shrek 2.
It's the exact same.
So, but it's Snow White this
different
time.
Font.
So I quite laughed at this. Snow White comes out, distracts the tree guards by singing la 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 la. All the birds are out, all that, and then this was a bit cringe, but I laughed. She then starts singing "Immigrant Song" by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
and all the birds attack.
I think it's all right.
It's a good joke. It's fine. It's. I'm glad they didn't milk it too much. There she is. Made me laugh. And I do like that they are trying to characterise these princesses a little bit.
Rather than just making them
just generic as they are in their fairy tale stories. They do a little bit different something with them, which is kind of fun. That's a mad looking shot. Very low key. Is that the rogue? Fucking Wanda vibes.
I guess. Like,
we'll discuss it later. We need to get through the plot.
Yeah,
it's almost
of course. We're almost done. We're almost done with this plot, finally. But yeah, so the princesses all show up and they fuck up the villainous henchmen, destroy the tree people, blah, 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 blah. Good. Great. Meanwhile, the play goes on, and it's terrible. Prince Charming, even at the height of his victory, is still performing a shite fucking play that no one likes. No one's laughing at him. And once again, when Shrek, the defeated real Shrek, about to be murdered, comes on, he's cracking jokes and getting laughs, stealing the show from Charming. Charming cannot help but being fucking buoyed by his own plans. He's pish.
I love the idea as well, just from the very beginning, like literally the first scene, that really Prince Charming doesn't want to become king, doesn't want the kingdom. He's just raging that his Amdram performance didn't work out.
That's it.
That is the entire point in this film.
I'm just like, but he wants to be an actor. When did he want to be king?
Aye.
Like, also, you realise you can be in a play that doesn't have to happen in real life.
He tried
like,
to
you could just, if you want to be the king in a play, man, just write it like that. Like, no one's stopping you.
I do think it's meant to be that the play is a representation of what he wants to do in real life. Because remember how it opens in Shrek 2?
See, but have you seen the state of the kingdom? This is the other thing. I was like, I guess this is why the kingdom's in disarray under Charming's rule, because he's faffing about with his Amdram play, not ruling the kingdom. It's like, man, you've taken over at this point. You are king. Go and do it.
He didn't go for Shrek himself. He was like, I need to go and fucking paint the set. I need to go and learn my lines.
Yeah, he's like pacing about. Being
right, so we've broken into the city, burnt things down, taken over. Right, cool. Don't clean that up. Help me set up the play.
Right?
You're right. Oh my God, they're fucking terrible. They can't even do a coup right. Anyway, so Shrek's getting all the laughs, chained up, he's brought on stage, laughing up, making jokes, everyone's laughing, and then Charming is sick of this, so he's like, this is it. Fuck it. I'm going to kill you. And he pulls his sword out. He's like giving a big speech about to kill Shrek. And as he raises his sword to do it, suddenly everything gets serious again. Oh my God. And then the dragon. The dragon, what's her name? Forget her name. Who cares? Donkey's wife. The dragon shows up and melts the sword with her flamey breath. And then all the princesses burst through the wall. Once again, fucking the Queen Mother using her head to break walls. And they show up for a fight. And then Charming calls his reinforcements. All the villains storm the stage. Villains and the princesses have a big fight. And then suddenly, Arthur shows up. He's been convinced by the princesses that Shrek didn't mean it. Meant to say that earlier, whatever. Didn't mean it. Shrek was just lying. We all know he was being truthful.
Yeah.
We know that.
We were there.
For the sake of the plot, cool. And to save this wee boy some embarrassment, Arthur shows up, dispels the fighting, and asking them, do you like being villains? So it's kind of similar to
Prince Charming's
monologue. Yeah, he's like, do you like being villains? It's all we know, they say. And then they have like this really kind of deep discussion about the gig economy that is being a fantasy villain. And again, funny. Fucking hell, man.
I did laugh a little bit this bit where the big evil tree's, he's like, go and do something else. And the big evil tree's like, I'm a big evil tree. Like, what else am I meant to do?
They're all
fair.
As I say, it's like, as I say, a gig economy. They've got terrible prospects.
They just need to unionise
too, man.
Yes, they do need a union. That's what the full film should have been about. That'd have been really fucking boring.
Unions are canon in Shrek.
Oh fuck! What isn't canon in Shrek? Anyway, so Arthur and there's a great bit. He's like, you know who to blame, and he points. That's who's to blame, and he points at them, and they go, but they mistake it for being this wee guy, and they go,
it's Rumple.
It's Rumple. Sorry, it's Rabstiltskin. It's wee Rabstiltskin, and they go, it's him. Get him, boys, and they jump on him like, no, not him. I enjoyed that joke as well, but
he means you. He means you. He's pointing at the royal you.
He means the royal you. He means it's your own fault and you can get out of it. That's how you solve it. And he basically inspires them with a sequence that I realise is so like the cafeteria dance scene from High School Musical, where they're like, oh, I can do this. I want to. The ugly stepsister's like, I want to make a
spa in France.
A spa in France. And then Hook has the best one when he goes, I grow daffodils. They're beautiful. Love that for him. Great.
Yeah, also that's just not really like okay.
Yeah.
Like
they're really just throwing things at the wall to make jokes in this film.
What's random? Oh, daffodils.
The whole film is kind of like that.
Yeah,
it's just like quirky,
crazy.
Oh, God.
Okay. But yeah, I feel like this is the thing about this film is, so we obviously get to the point where he makes a speech. And like, does anything else happen? He's now like I'm going to be king. Like,
Well, look, yeah. So basically, this therapy session reaches the villains, but it doesn't reach Charming.
okay.
Yeah. So what happened? 'Cause yeah, I love how you can't remember this film.
But it's just like, this is the only thing he's done is this speech, which like arguably, like from like the point of view of like not making sense within the story, but like from the point of view of a viewer of this film, I feel like you should want the sort of succession crisis at the end of the film to be resolved with like, and now it makes sense that, you know, a kingly leader, someone with, you know, some kind of
a king,
good qualities is going to take over this role. And I was like, okay, so the point is like he's going to step up and Shrek's going to go, no, the responsible thing is I'm not going to shirk my responsibilities. He learns the hard way. Look at how everything's falling apart. And, you know, but like he lets the wee boy be king.
Yeah.
But all the wee boy does is this speech.
Yeah.
And it's pish.
Yeah. And well, literally, the thing is, he's such a weak king that even the story's like in the next film, nah, he's not king, but...
Really?
Well, he's not in it.
I'm not sure if I've seen the fourth one.
That's great.
Okay. But basically, like, I'm just like, so what's meant to happen now is like Shrek's going to say, I've seen the error in my ways. It's not right to be this lazy. I should step up for my family, my kingdom, and, you know, take some pride in what I do.
The obvious storytelling plot point.
Yeah. But the wee boy's like, and I will be king. And Shrek's like,
class.
Great.
Back to the fucking swamp. Can't wait. Let's go shit in the swamp.
and he's like, I will consider maybe trying to be a good dad.
Yeah, right.
We all done here? Cool, sick. All right. And I was like, what? The wee boy's going to be king? The wee boy with no experience.
The whole of Shrek 4 is about Shrek being dissatisfied with fatherhood. That is what it's about.
That's what the
Yeah.
whole film's about. And the fourth one's about that as well.
That's what I'm saying. The fourth one is he's had the babies at this point and he's like, this is shit. That's what the fourth one's about.
Shrek sucks.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, but the fourth one's really cool because it allows, because he does a whole time changey thing and then Fiona becomes like the hero in the past world. And like, that's cool.
That was the other thing I was going to say though. It's like, he doesn't even ask Fiona if she wants to, you know, like be the queen, like, because she's the one with the lineage, and not
It's
that I necessarily agree, but like, you know,
it's her thing.
It's hard. Yeah, it's her throne, and he doesn't ever say to her like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to?
He's just like, no.
He's like, I'm not doing this, so you're not doing this. Let's go find your wee illegitimate cousin. He'll do it. And that's how the film ends though as well.
Yeah.
Like,
And she's just all right with it.
Let's finish off
The plot.
the actual plot. 'Cause
Yeah.
that is what happens after this scene. But well, what's the word for it? Yeah, so Arthur's wee therapy session reaches the villains, but it doesn't reach Charming. Oh no, he charges and he stabs Shrek. But he can't even fucking do that right. I don't know how he misses. Did he hit the crown or something?
it goes in
instead?
between his chest
Oh,
and his arm.
Fuck's sake.
It's actually quite difficult to do that if you tried.
Yeah, right. So Shrek then punches him and like
He gets flattened
he gets
by a
flattened
tower.
by his own shite.
And he goes,
set.
Mummy, before he gets flattened.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
good metaphor, right metaphor, great.
Laughs
He's
all
gone.
round.
Laughs all round. He's gone. And then, of course, the crazy cookie wacky Merlin shows back up to change Donkey and Puss back, and he fucks it, and their tails remain wrong. Great.
Hilarious. And then
It ends with Arthur being crowned.
Arthur's king, and then they go back to the swamp and they have their babies.
No, babies. A litter of children. Not like three
Triplets.
kids. Was it triplets?
Aye, not like 3 kids. Yes.
Do we ever
That
find out what their
many.
names are in the fourth one? Like, what do they name their
Yeah,
children?
they're called like Og and Sprog and that
Stinky.
kind of thing. Yeah. Og, Sprog and Stinky.
Og, Sprog, and Stinky.
Is that us?
Wait, who's who?
Who's Og, Sprog, and Stinky? Well, I think it makes sense. I'm probably stinky. I don't think I'm
I'm
as stinky.
actually just glad that we dealt with that. No. Who's Og and who's Sprog? I feel
don't
like you're
know.
Sprog today.
Yeah.
Because you're all green, like a
Yeah,
little...
I'll be Sprog.
I'll
You
be
can
Og. That's kind of the shit one, isn't it? Fair enough, I'll take it.
Og, Sprog, and Stinky. So on that note, we have come to the end of Shrek 3. It ends with another song that I didn't write down who sang it because it wasn't that great.
Something
It
by
was-
the Eels, probably.
Oh, it was someone, I forget. Yeah, it was a pop song.
They love the Eels in that franchise. So, ratings first.
Ratings first. So this one is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me because I watched it with my sister and my dad. We had a great time with it when we were younger. And then years later, me and my friend Chrissy, shout out to her family, got it in.
So close.
Me and her would get like we would drink gin and just watch. Oh, we go watch Shrek film. Oh, I've seen Shrek 2 too many times. So then we just watched Shrek 3. It just became like a running thing that we just sometimes watch Shrek 3 real pissed and just laugh at how fucking insane Merlin is, how fucking shite Arthur is, and just how wacky some of the plot stuff is. This time watching it, I didn't quite enjoy it as much, but I think that's because
you weren't watching it with someone.
Yeah. I was. I was watching with Abby, but I just wasn't like.
So rude.
It's not rude. We just watched License to Kill beforehand. Okay. It was a double feature.
So you've seen a film you'd actually thought was good, yeah.
I love it, yeah. And maybe I gave it unfair. So I'm not going to base my viewing of it on that. I'm going to cumulatively base it on all my views. Because I do, in spite of some of the shite things, I think it does kind of work. It has a little charm. It's a little off-killer. And yeah, it's fun to take the piss out of. And it's fun to like think about and go into spirals about Shrek being a monster. Which he is. He's a tyrant. I'd probably get like a 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Maybe a 6 on a good day, and I'm feeling kind of good today about it.
So funny. So like, you're talking about like enjoying watching it being pissed. I watched Shrek 3 fairly recently before I watched it for this podcast. Yeah. I went to Butte last year for a wee weekend away with Cammy, and we got pissed and we were just sitting watching DreamWorks films. Nice. And by the end, I can't remember what particular part. I think it was something about Shrek stepping up to be a good dad, but he was so half cut. He was greeting about how touched he was by this film.
Cammy!
It happens. Hey, props, my man. Like, that fucking happens.
When Arthur took the crown and he was like... it was like they kind of pass it. It was like a very Jungian piece of storytelling, like sort of
Jungian. Yeah. Sorry, just clarify. Yeah.
The dream sequence.
Yes.
And like, okay, it's like a full hero story.
Oh my God.
Around the bend, all this stuff, and then sort of Shrek passes on the baton, sort of in the eye.
Man, that's a good reading. I actually like that. You should be on the podcast.
Bring some class to it. Absolutely not. So,
Christ.
I was burping and farting during it.
Oh.
Being Shrek.
I mean, your wee swamp hole.
I stay in your wee swamp hole, man.
That's enough out of you, Cammy, thank you.
Turn that mic off, thank you. So, it kind of gives me more points for that just because it was just quite funny.
There's a funny memory.
There's a funny memory wrapped to it.
What would you give it then?
I think in my head I'm giving it more credence because it's a Shrek film, but it's not as good by far as any of the other ones. So I'd probably give it a 5.5.
5.5. Yeah, I think that's a fair rating.
Yeah, I don't know. I was probably going to give this a 4, but then the more I think about it, like, I think the thing is, like, I'm only giving it a 4 because I think the other Shrek films are good, and I think the Shrek package altogether is good. I don't think this is bad enough to, like, ruin it. But as much as I'm not going to, like, compare it to the other ones and review it unfavourably because it doesn't hold up to them, I also don't want to, like, let it have any of the credit of the other ones being good. I think, like, the biggest thing I have with this is it just all feels really overdone to me. Like a lot of the jokes and stuff, like occasionally they are funny, but I think like either we've seen it done too many times in the Shrek franchise already, the transformation gag, the kind of, ye olde language being worked into like a modern sort of setting. It's just done in all the other ones too much by this point, and it's done better in the other ones. The kind of like trope of like all the villains gathered together and they weren't really the villains, or they don't see themselves as the villains, and like the princesses have this kind of like strong moment. Yeah, I've seen it. Like, it's so ubiquitous already, and I didn't think it was clever.
Yes, so I think you've hit onto something really cool with that, or interesting with that, because I think some of these little elements could be funny if the overall plot was a bit more engaging.
Well, this is what I said. Like, I was sitting watching this film being like, when is this going to start? Like, I was so confused. I was like, all that's happened in this film is like, Shrek, like the king dies, Shrek goes to a high school and kidnaps a wee boy.
Tyrant.
They go like on a mad like trip with some like homeless guy in the woods, and then like they interrupt an Amdram play,
That's it.
That's it. Like the other films feel so like, oh, like this, and then fire breathing dragon, and they capture her from the tower, and then even things like the beats, like they have 9 Crimes by Damien Rice in this, like, you know, where Hallelujah was in the first Shrek, and I'm like, it feels very like by the numbers. It feels like a money grab. I'm like, we could have just done 1 and 2, and that would have been solid. I didn't need any more.
Why did we, you know, I had a point there. I just lost it. It's okay.
Why did we choose this one?
No.
Oh.
No, it was something else. Go on.
Right, so I was just going to say, this is why I think Shrek the Fourth is actually a good sequel. Like, I like Shrek the Third as a guilty pleasure, but I do think Shrek the Fourth is actually good because the central plot is he makes a deal with Rumpelstiltskin and then ends up reversing his whole life, and everything's flipped on its head, and all like magical creatures are enslaved, and Fiona is now leading a band of ogres, warriors against this, and no one knows who Shrek is because he's been erased from history. And
Perfect.
you're right.
The end.
The end. No, but like it's a big high concept plot, and then you can have these little silly asides to it. So you've got this hook of a big plot, and then the silly asides make sense. Where in this one, you've got some really funny silly asides. Like, genuinely, if you give it credit and are in a good mood, you'll find some of this really funny and silly. But without that central, really good plot, like, you know, in Shrek 1, 2, and 4, it does fall a bit flat.
Here's what I've
You give it a 4.
Here's what I've just realised. The reason why it's so shit is because it's not about Fiona, really. Like, the fatherhood part is kind of related to Fiona, but it's not about her. The first film is all about her. The second film, again, all about her. The fourth film, all about her. Third film isn't about her. It's about him.
That's a really good point, actually.
Right?
Yeah, no, you're right. No, so I don't think they're all...
She's the driving force of the entire franchise, and she's barely in it. She's been left at home because she's pregnant. That's why it's shite.
Yeah, no, look, I don't fully agree that she's the full focus. I think it needs to be both of them. It needs to be both of them.
Yeah.
It needs to be Shrek being his kind of annoying self, and then Fiona
you can't
being...
just have him sitting moaning about his fucking life by himself.
The other 2 films, Shrek pushes himself to better himself because he wants, like, because Fiona is the exception to his lazy life rule. He's like, I'm going to put myself out of my comfort zone because I love her. Whereas in this film, he goes, I don't love you that much.
Aye.
Never mind.
And that's kind of what the fourth film then also does.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm sick of being a da. Can I just have a day where I'm not a da? But then Rumpelstiltskin fucks him over. Anyway, good film. You should watch that. We'll watch that at some point. I only saw it recently because I heard it was so terrible, and then watched it and was like, "This is fucking sick. This is amazing. This is like my second, third favorite Shrek film." I don't know. I go about with what the order is.
So reviews.
As you can possibly imagine, the reviews for this film.
Oh, should we do Rogues Gallery first? There's our Rogues Gallery.
Oh,
pick.
yeah. Wait,
sorry.
whilst you're getting the reviews up.
Yeah, I've got them here, but let's do the Rogues Gallery first. I'm going to vote Captain Hook. That's my pick. You can disagree, you can agree. I just think he's very, very funny. He's only in a few scenes, and the implied narrative of his daffodils, him going out and fucking hunting down Peter Pan all the time, and they just killing kids because he's wanting to get Peter Pan, and then just him playing the piano, and that made me. There's something going on there that I enjoyed a lot. What do you guys think?
I think Queen Lillian might be my pick for Rogues Gallery. But they're sticking our head through walls and probably being
it was very
Prince
out of
Charming's
place.
mom.
It was very out of
With that
place.
implied narrative, is that what you're both voting?
It's just weird.
What's she doing?
What is she doing?
Yeah.
Like, I think, again, Captain Hook's a wee bit too in character.
Yeah,
Merlin's trying way too fucking hard. He is banned from Rogues Gallery. He gets nowhere fucking near Rogues Gallery. I hate this cunt, by the way.
He's not allowed.
I hate his wee balls hanging out of his fucking gown and him fucking crunching on his rocks. He's shocking. I fucking hate him.
Stop eating rocks, man.
Just
stop doing that.
It's not going to get you in our Rogues Gallery, man.
I do not like you at all.
I'm going to censor every mention of his name throughout this just so that he's erased from history. That's what he deserves.
Just like the lost episode of our podcast.
So, I vote Lillian and her fucking weird head.
Cool, I'll concede to that.
Okay.
I want Hook to be in that bar. Do you know what? Fuck it. Look,
She looks like that female
that's a
sports
horrifying
presenter.
photo of her. Oh. She looks like who?
Who's the female sports presenter? I don't know her name.
I know.
Do you know what I mean, though? She looks like her.
She does.
She looks like Charmin. Anyway.
But she looks like Charmin also.
But okay, can you give me this? She's in the Rogues Gallery, but can Captain Hook be playing the piano in the bar that they're at?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If you want, I'll even like put Heart in the Rogues Gallery and then get like Hook's wee Hook, just like a wee Easter egg in the corner, just peeking out through the frame.
Just get a wee small one.
I'm just doing this in case nobody knows what a hook looks like. Just mortifying myself for no reason.
Pulling.
I had something that's going to wind Claude up.
Yes.
Of course, always.
Captain Hook looks like Jim Carrey.
He does a wee bit.
No, he doesn't.
I guess.
I
What,
get
in
you.
the way that he has an eyes, nose, and mouth?
No, it's the long face and the.
This is why you're
looks
definitely
like
not
Lord
in the
Farquaad.
podcast.
What about this one?
Okay, yeah, there he does. There he
Oh,
does.
no, that one just beside
We're looking
it.
at images just now, by the way,
Yeah.
of Captain Hook not looking like Jim Carrey.
Anyway, I think he does a little bit. I see your point, Cammy.
He looks like Lord Farquaad a bit.
What?
What if
Multiple
Captain
affairs.
Hook? What if Captain Hook is Lord Farquaad's dad?
Great. Love it.
I love that too.
Print it. Sell it. I'm here for it. Fucking ship that. Done.
Reviews.
Reviews. So yeah.
Let's stick it to a couple because I think we're
I'm not doing too many at all. There's not really much to say. General consensus of this one, it's got the lowest rating of all the Shrek films.
Fair.
Which makes it's just fair. I did say, I think I made a wild card suggestion last night that I prefer this to Shrek 1. I don't think I do. I think the animation is probably better than Shrek 1 because some of the animation that's a little bit ropey looking at times.
Yeah.
Do this one.
Yes, at times.
But yeah, no, I think the jokes are a bit stronger in that film. And as much as I like this in a kind of guilty pleasure way, it's
no great.
it's
Not enough Fiona.
not
Mayor
enough
Fiona, wee boy.
Mayor Fiona, wee boy.
But
yeah,
what does the review say?
This is the review section. Yes. So it's got like on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 41% based on 213 reviews. So and an average rating of 5.5 out of 10, which is
What does the review say?
No, I'm just giving the general consensus.
right, so that's
the
public vote.
Yeah. So the site's critical consensus reads: Shrek the Third has pop culture pot shots galore, but at the expense of the heart, charm, and wit that made the first two Shreks classics. I half agree with that. I do think there is some charm, a little bit of wit, and there's not any heart. I don't think there's any heart in this one.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair point.
I think DreamWorks just got into this habit of like, oh, we need to put cocks in everything because we're a wee bit raunchier than Disney. I think and it's really like it's just not impressive. It's not clever.
Totally.
Because B movies shocking for that, and that's
it's
DreamWorks
terrible.
as well. So
yeah, bringing that
Yeah.
in, like, because this is kind of what we were saying earlier. Some critics were confused as to the film's target demographic. Karina Shocano of the Los Angeles Times, she said that there were some themes about career and parenting anxieties, the lifestyles of celebrities, as well as some of the humour wasn't really for children. She's like, does a kids movie really need, among other similar touches, like a Hooters joke? I, for one, wouldn't want to have to explain it.
I don't know whether that's like, because that's kind of like, that's what made the first one work. But I think the problem was they were like, let's just repeat that and repeat
And
that
they're
and
not
repeat
clever.
that. And
It's
they're
not
not clever.
yeah, I think
they
that's
haven't
what-
laced it in with things that would make sense to a kid in a different way. You know,
Yeah.
like, oh, this is funny just because it's maybe like physical comedy.
Yeah.
But it's also funny to adults because, oh, that's a reference to that. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
And the thing is as well, like I think, but like what she said at the beginning there about, you know, it's a kid's film, because that's right. The first films are like, you know, there's obviously themes as all fairy tales do, but it's a fairy tale. It's a kid's film with adult jokes put in. But this one's kind of like a midlife crisis with some Wayne's characters in it.
That's what the fourth one does better.
I like that there is kind of themes of these kind of things in kids' TV shows, like parenting anxiety and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that TV show, the Australian one, Bluey, does it really well, where they talk about like parents' anxieties and issues and stuff like that, as well as the kids. But they're just relating to what shite does.
Yeah.
Why does shite dads need any more fucking like
Time.
Aye,
You're
exactly.
shite. Time to time, you're shite.
Like, no, yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think so. So the last one I'll just say, Peter Bradshaw, Guardian, gave it 2 stars out of 5, and he says, barrel scrapingly average, there are no new ideas, no very funny new characters, and he called the character Merlin frankly unfunny and a bit of a rip-off of other, clearly trying to be like a Dumbledore rip-off and just
Yeah.
falling flat. And he says there's no good musical numbers. There's Live and Let Die at one point for a bit, but even he's like...
You get like a few seconds of that.
Yeah, there's no I need a hero.
When we were talking about this and we're like, what one do we do? And you were like, oh, Shrek 3 is hilarious. That Live and Let Die moment is like so funny. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that being funny. It's like 15 seconds of the film. Like, this is not
It's a 90-minute film.
enough to to keep the whole
92.
thing going.
92 minutes. First
I get-
Shrek's like 80.
Really anxious whenever we start talking about the runtime of films because I'm just like, how long have we been talking for?
Way too
Don't
long.
tell me.
But yeah, so
Cool.
look, do we think ridiculous kind of amazing or just ridiculous?
I think
and a
this
bit-
is why I didn't like it that much, because I thought it was not that ridiculous.
Yeah.
The end. Yeah, my review is Shrek 3, fine, whatever. 4 stars.
5.5 from you.
5.5. I just think it's not as good as the other ones.
It's
but
definitely not.
I don't know. Do you know? I give it a 6. I think that the judgment's quite harsh. The reasons why I don't like it is like, I mean, the repeated kind of jokes that you keep telling were like, to me, you know. But
Clearly fucking hated that. Had ample opportunity to correct me at the beginning. Clearly I was going to keep doing that.
I didn't know you were going to do it like
Claude,
400
here and
times.
she
I literally said to you, I've got all the quotes from my favourite jokes that I'll read out to you guys. Is that cool? And you're like, yeah.
She does actually quite a few times try and say, but you just don't hear her.
How? How did I not hear that?
I think I'll give it a 6 because it is just like a Shrek film. It's a kid film. He's going to shite in it, but I still enjoy watching it. I still enjoy some of the musical numbers. I like the characters.
Yeah. Like,
It's fine. It's fine. It's just not as good as the other ones.
Yeah, and I can't hate it. I can't even dislike it. I can't even say it's average because it's still Shrek and it's
Yeah.
still ultimately a bit funny.
Yeah.
And like, even if it's not laugh out loud funny, it's still, for me, ridiculous and a little bit silly. And I'm like, guys, you need to fucking see what they're trying to do with this one. That's why I was quite excited when we said this one, because aye. But yes, so next week, what are we doing? Have we decided what next week is?
Have we?
It's either
It's either. Oh, we've got an either this time, guys.
it's either going to be The Lost Boys or Empire Records, and I haven't quite decided yet. But we'll see. One of the two.
One of the two.
Everyone's going to be like, oh, I hope it's this one. And by the time that this goes out, we'll have recorded the other one and I'm going to have picked the wrong one.
Definitely Lost Boys will be the more popular choice, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
See my mum's review of it. I just wanted to share, by the way.
Go for it.
Shrek loves itself, and I fucking hate Mike Myers with that shite accent. Can't take to it. She wanted me to
I'm
shit.
with your mum.
The only credence I give to that accent is the fact that he is like half Scottish. That's it. He has Scottish
Only
family.
half.
Yeah, only half.
For a reason.
And it fucking shows. Anyway, Pirate Shrek, done. See you next time.
Thank you very
See
much for
you.
watching the Sorry I Don't podcast or listening to it, or both. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week with another film. See you
Shout
then.
out to the Podcast Studio Glasgow for letting us do this.
Bye.